as they were swept. So Zach Britton takes the mound, looking to make it 2 wins in a row. The left-hander will take on the Cleveland Indians, and for the Orioles, they hope this home cooking means some W's are on their way. It's the Orioles on Massett, and the Orioles are very happy to be back home here at Camden Yards. Another one of those 4-game sets in front of them, this time against the Cleveland Indians. The Indians and the Orioles both battling for a division lead. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Thunderstorms have passed through. Looks like we're going to have a very good night weather-wise for baseball and for the Orioles. They'll look to improve on what was a very tough road trip. Let's take a look at the numbers that ended, of course, in Toronto with the sweep. 2-4 playing Detroit and Toronto on the trip. Batting average very good at .269. 12 home runs per game 5.3, really enough to win more than what they did. But the starter ERA, the continuing problem at 6.75, and the bullpen ERA at 4.95. Those have to improve if the Orioles are going to get some W's. And to do it here at home, they'll rely on the big bats that they've had here so far this year. Here at Camden Yards, Chris Davis with that .344 average, 12 home runs. Nick Markakis hitting .340 here in his home yard, 3 homers, 17 RBIs, and Manny Machado, 15 of those doubles he's picked up, along with that .303 average. All have come here at Camden Yards. So for the Orioles, Mike, they come back home. They need to get some wins, get out of this 3-game losing streak.
Oh, they sure do. But you know what? They have to look at it from the positive side, and I think that's what Buck Showalter does. They had some really strong pitching performances on that road trip. They were matched up against the Tigers and Toronto Blue Jays, the hottest team in all of baseball. Miguel Gonzalez threw a 3-hit game, 7 1/3 innings. He threw great. Jason Hamill was as sharp as I'd seen him. He was keeping the ball down in the zone, had a good breaking ball. Unfortunately, they lost those 2 tough games, and that starter earned run average got ballooned in the last game when they got blown out, 13 runs. So there were a lot of positives to take. They were in every ball game. They had a chance to win, except for that last game in Toronto, but they are happy to be home. They got some sluggers that hit really well here at Camden Yards.
And boy, for the Orioles tonight, do not undercut the start by Zach Britton. I mean, he has an opportunity to solidify a place in that rotation that would be so beneficial to the Orioles.
You got that right, and he was one of the guys that made the start in Detroit up against Justin Verlander. He had his sinker working. When he gets ahead and he can utilize that sinker, that 2-seamer, hitters chase, and they induce a lot of weak ground balls. And everybody, he got 10 ground balls in that ball game, so that's what they're looking for him to do. He's come back from AAA, and he looks like a different type of pitcher. Very composed. He's staying within himself, not trying to overthrow and get strikeouts on every pitch.
Well, we're going to have a chance to watch the left-handed work for the Orioles here tonight, and on this beautiful evening when we come back, we'll take a look at the Cleveland Indians and what they've done so far this year as the 4-game series gets underway. brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. It is a beautiful evening after thunderstorms went through and eliminated batting practice for Cleveland and half of the Orioles BP. Here in this evening, take a look at our Train game time temperature, 85 degrees, humidity coming down a little bit actually. Train celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. For the Cleveland Indians, Bourne at the top has made a real difference. Avila's back, Kipnis red hot, Swisher getting back into the lineup. Santana big numbers. Former Oriole Mark Reynolds, Brantley, Rayburn, and Stubbs. There you see the numbers for Mark so far this year.
And here's a scouting report tonight for Zach Britton. Finding form. He pitched really well down in Norfolk. Kind of earned his call up here. And in his first start against the Tigers, he was matched up against Justin Verlander and came away with a win. He had an earned run average of 2.03 down in Norfolk, and he had some quality starts together. He's looking to keep that form going here tonight against the Indians. Getting ahead, that's a key for him. First pitch strikes, it's always been important for Zach, and it helps him establish a consistent rhythm out there on the mound. He'll end up getting a lot more swings on that sinking fastball that he has, and his goal is to keep a busy infield. 10 ground balls in his last start. Very good at sinking that fastball, but once again, getting ahead the key. 2 starts this year, 1-1. His last start got that victory. Trying to bring that earned run average down a bit.
Yeah, we are ready to go, and here's the speedster, Michael Bourne. Bear in mind, throughout this 4-game set, this Cleveland Indian teams under Terry Francona's running. They are second to the Red Sox in stolen bases on the season, and Bourne is one of those who kickstarts their speed game. He's done a tremendous job at the top of the order. 7-game hit streak for Bourne coming in, and he'll swing through it, and an 0-2 count from Zach Britton.
Well, there you go, getting ahead and letting that 2-seam fastball sink down and in on Bourne. He's going to induce a lot of weak contact. He continues that program.
See, during the hit streak at 4+ batting average, and Wieters setting up outside, gave him one to look at. For Zach Britton coming into the ball game, the 1-1 mark lifetime against these Cleveland Indians. These teams meeting for the first time this year. And he got him. So Britton starts out getting Bourne looking.
A nice job right there by Zach Britton. He dots this fastball away. A little cut on that 2-seamer. 91 miles an hour. Painted and locks Michael Bourne up. Strike 3.
And this will bring Aviles up. Mike Aviles playing at shortstop. He's played a number of positions: left field, right field, third base, shortstop, second base. He's pretty much moved around. Aviles coming over to this ball club to give him a little strength in the infield. Came from Toronto last November. 1-0 count on him. Britton's pitch will be hit in the air to right field. Little sun field. Nick Markakis has it lined up and makes the catch.
Nice play right there by Nick Markakis. Ball kept carrying on him. Here's a look at the Orioles defense. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis once again in the Orioles outfield. Hardy and Flaherty up the middle. Manny Machado playing the heck out of third base. Chris Davis over at first. And Matt Wieters once again behind the plate.
And a name to keep an eye on if you're on the mound for the Orioles is the man at the plate, Jason Kipnis. He has the 4th highest batting average in the month of June at 400. He's had 8 runs scored, picked up 8 doubles, 15 RBIs, 20 games, 1 home run. Kipnis has absolutely been on fire. He's got a 5-game hit streak coming in, 9 hits in 17 at-bats during the hit streak. So if you're looking at somebody in the lineup, as all teams and pitchers do, that you can't let beat you in this particular series, you're probably looking at him.
Yeah, definitely. Jason Kipnis red hot for the Indians. Actually, as a team, they've been playing some really good baseball here recently.
Oop. And that one caught him. So Kipnis hit by a pitch. That will be the first batter hit by a pitch this season in this Britton's just his 3rd start. Francona started out, but Kipnis said he's all right, so he goes down to first base. So that'll bring Nick Swisher up. Always a fan favorite here at Camden Yards.
When you put those pinstripes on, right?
Greeted with a chorus of boos as he stands in. Long time, of course, with the Yankees. Swisher, and been injured. Just getting back into the lineup yesterday with the Indians. Switch hitter with power. And he'll take that to left field for a base hit. So Swisher's on, first hit of the ball game, and the Indians put runners on at first and second.
Well, Zach Britton certainly making some adjustments. Deep inside the numbers tells you first start. Look at that average, 474 with a 789 slugging percentage. Made his adjustments through the minor leagues and pitched very well in his last start. Opponent average is 273 with a 636 slugging percentage.
So right away, even with 2 down, faces a decision where he needs to get the out on Santana, on a very tough hitter. 278 batting average, 18 doubles, 10 home runs, 32 RBIs, and the off-speed delivery really had him fooled, froze him, and he gets it in there for a strike. There are the numbers for Santana on the season. The Cleveland catcher hitting .296 with runners in scoring position. He's got Kipnis out at second base and Swisher on at first. 0-1 delivery to him, will miss inside for a ball. Zach Britton looking for a nice clean first inning in the 2 career starts with that 1-1 record against the Indians. A very solid 3.75 ERA put up against Cleveland. 2 down. Carlos Santana takes it. It's a strike. A pretty good jackknife job and a strike.
Great pitch from Zach Britton. Really pitching him tough here. Starts him off with a breaking ball. Nice job of getting ahead. That's a fastball in, and that little 2-seamer ran back over that inside corner. Nice fastball there.
Indians are 12-14 against left-handed starters. It was a major problem for Cleveland last year. Terry Francona taking over a ball club that went 18-35 against left-handers last year. This year 12-14 so far. 1-2 delivery, and he fooled him again, but Santana was able to get a little piece of that and keep the at-bat alive.
Zach Britton able to mix up that breaking ball. Pretty good pitch there. Takes a lot off, 80 miles an hour. Tries to get him out in front, top that ball, and he does a good job of it. Unfortunately, Santana able to foul that one off.
Zach looking for the final out here with 2 on. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Working on that third base side. 1-2 delivery. Santana will take it. Wieters with a nice stop. And that'll take the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Santana against left-handers 282, right-handers 276, so not much difference. And neither with the power. He's had 10 home runs. 4 of those have come against left-handers. Boy, what a nice night. Hardly a breeze here. Lots of blue sky and the setting sun. 2-2 delivery by Britton. Santana takes it up high, and the count goes full 3-2.
I tried to bring that one back on the inside corner as well. Lost it up high. Every now and then you'll see Zach Britton try to overthrow and try to do a little bit too much. Of course, with the tough hitter Santana, doesn't want to force the issue. Let that 2-seam fastball work down in the bottom of the zone. That's when he's most effective.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Runners go, and a chopper is foul. Hit him in the batter's box. So Santana will keep it alive here with the count at 3-2. Santana really working here in an inning where the first 2 outs came quickly, and then the hit batter Kipnis extended it. Swisher the single, and now Santana will be looking at the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up with his 3 ball, 2 strike count. And waiting on deck, former Oriole Mark Reynolds. 3-2. Again, the runners take off. Santana puts it in the air. Center. Jones will be there. And Britton works his way out of it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 are left on base. The Orioles lineup coming up. 4-4 with Cleveland taking 2 out of 3 here in Baltimore. Here's the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. McLeod, Machado, Markakis, Jones, Davis, and Hardy. Leaders Ishikawa and Flaherty. Manny Machado continuing to have that impressive second season.
And here's a scouting report for Ubaldo Jimenez tonight. He's been battling command this year. 14 starts on the year. He's averaging 5 1/3 innings with over 4.5 walks per 9 innings. The Orioles, this will be the first time they've ever seen him. He's got a full mix: fastball, slider, curve, occasional change-up, but a chase split. When he gets ahead, you're going to see that split finger dropping at the bottom of the zone.
And Nate McLouth leads it off against him. Nate has a 7-game hit streak coming into it. And then his delivery to him will be fouled back over the screen. For Nate McLouth, an impressive first half. .333 during the current 7-game hit streak, raising his average up to .289. He has flirted with that .300 average a number of times here in June. Jimenez will miss up high with it in a 1-ball, 2-strike count on McLouth.
Yeah, Nate's been a great leadoff man for the Orioles. Swinging the bat very well, and of course that stolen base threat at all times.
1-2 delivery to him. Now McLouth has faced Jimenez before. In fact, he's got 22 at bats against him, more than any other Oriole. 3 for 22 with a home run against Jimenez. 2-2 delivery, and it's a called strike, and McLouth right away on Scott Berry, the home plate umpire. Says what?
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the Nissan pitch track and see where this was. Nate sees it down, but it looks like it catches the box. Tough pitch right there. Pretty good movement at the bottom of the zone.
How about this windup?
Well, I think that's why he's been so inefficient. I mean, it's so hard to command that delivery and at least repeat it over and over again. But he's had success with it.
Oh.
He won 19 games with Colorado back in 2010.
Repeat that. With Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Manny Machado in the number 2 spot. The 0-1 delivery to him will be outside.
Yeah, take a look at his delivery right here. That's what Gary was talking about. Brings it high up over the arm, then he spikes that arm down behind him. That's to get it back up on top.
That ball put up in the air, right center field. Stubbs is there, and Manny Machado's retired.
And here's a look at the Indians' defense. Brantley, Bourne, and Stubbs in the outfield. Aviles over at shortstop. Kipnis playing very well at second base. Mark Reynolds back in Baltimore at third. Nick Swisher at first, and Santana behind the plate.
So 2 down, bases are empty, and that will bring up Nick Markakis. The Indians coming off 2 very long games. The Orioles can only hope that may impact tonight. They played a 3-hour, 40-minute ball game yesterday, losing it on the heels of a 3-hour, 47-minute game, which the Indians won on Saturday night against the Twins. Francona's ball club's been up late on the field. The Orioles, of course, coming back from Toronto with the 42-34 mark. They are 2 games behind the Boston Red Sox, starting this 4-game set. Markakis with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Nick getting his first look at Jimenez. In the air to center. He hit that one hard. Going back is Bourne at the wall. Goodbye! Home run! Nick Markakis, a 2-out homer here in the first inning, and he got it. That is number 8 and his 40th RBI.
And Nick Markakis stays hot at home. Baltimore Orioles keep their power numbers soaring, leading all of baseball in those numbers.
So the Orioles use the long ball, and Nick Markakis puts the Orioles on top. For Jimenez, that is the 11th home run he has surrendered in 74 innings. And 9 of those have been hit by left-handers.
I'll take a look at Nick Markakis. We talked about the delivery and how inefficient it can be. This fastball stays up and out over the plate. And Nick Markakis, too good of a hitter to let that one go, and he hammered it.
Adam Jones will pop that one up to shallow right field. Stubbs And Jones is retired, and that'll do it for the Orioles in the inning, but they get the 1-0 lead as Nick Markakis delivers the homer. Blue Jays, the Orioles know all too well since June 2 are 15-3. They've outscored opponents 102-53, and by the way, haven't pitched badly. Clay Buchholz of Boston, the struggle continues. That neck stiffness still bothering him. He was supposed to start tomorrow. He's not gonna. They're not sure when he's back. And for the Yankees, last 20 home games against the Rangers, an amazing 15-5 record against a very good Texas team. They've outscored them 138-81. They're going to be opening up a series against the Rangers in New York.
Yeah, how about that? I think it's just more in the Rangers' head going up there and playing the Yankees.
Yeah, because certainly Texas has had everything over the last 4 or 5 years. Tremendous offense, good pitching. Britain's got the lead. And welcome back to Baltimore, Mark Reynolds. Big press conference held in the Cleveland dugout with Mark before the game. He came out and he met Buck Showalter and some of his former teammates on the Orioles when the Orioles got in a bit of batting practice today. Reynolds will take it away. He continues to do what Mark Reynolds did with the Orioles. Hit the long ball with the O's, that 221 average, but see the home runs and the RBIs that he put up. And it's been the same way with the Cleveland Indians, hitting 231, 14 homers, 44 RBIs.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Mark Reynolds can hit home runs, and last year he was just a huge catalyst for the Orioles defensively, believe it or not. When Manny Machado came up and played third base, he went over to first base, and he was playing a Gold Glove caliber first base, really digging balls out of the dirt for the infield. And that defense we've talked about, that's what led him to the promised land in the postseason.
Yeah, he was outstanding. That'll be off the fist. Popped up same way. Maybe room. Markakis with a big charge. Foul territory. And that's the way he can play right field here. Nick gets it a step away from the wall. Reynolds is retired.
And Nick Markakis just always plays fearless out there. Doesn't even think about the wall. Concentrating on the ball so much. Another tough play against that right field line wall.
So Nick gets it done in right, and that will bring up Michael Brantley. Brantley, the left fielder for the Indians. They've got left-handers in this lineup against Zach Britton. He's actually done pretty well against the lefties. Going back to last year, there aren't really enough numbers this year. Hit 256 left-handers last year, but the right-handers hit 381 off Zach Britton. 1-0 delivery on the way, and a real good breaking ball. 1-1.
Yeah, showing good command of that, at least for a strike. And he tries to get a swing and a miss, spikes it a little bit. But that's good to see. He can use that pitch to get ahead and keep these guys off balance.
1 ball, 1 strike count from Britton. Infield, outfield straight away. And the fastball catches him on the inside corner, 1-2. And you see the differential in the speed of those pitches from that off-speed breaking ball to the fastball.
Yeah, and Zach's real tough to pick up anyway. He has such quick, short arm action. I mean, very tough and deceptive, especially if you spin one of those 80-mile-an-hour breaking balls in there and then drop a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
And keep it down low, which he did right there. So Britton with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Zach this season coming into the ball game, the left-handers were 3 for 9 with a homer, and the right-handers 12 for 38 with a home run. He has picked up his share of ground balls, and boy did he get him on that one. Nasty. 2 nasty breaking balls shown in that at bat to Brantley.
Yeah, definitely caught him in between with this breaking ball. Nissan Pitch Track shows it. It's up at the top of the zone. Brantley didn't know whether to swing or take, but it's fighting its way back down. And I think home plate umpire calls it on both the swing and a strike.
So a couple of quick outs here in the second inning. Here's Ryan Rayburn, added to the roster at the end of March. And the pitch is in there for his strike. Rayburn has not had a hit in his last 12 at-bats, dropping his average down to 264. 2 for 2, lifetime off Britton. And it is in there for a strike. Zach right now putting the ball across the plate right where he wants it. And the count goes to 0-2 on Rayburn.
Well, so often you hear about Zach Britton. Just throw strikes. Your stuff is too good. I mean, this fastball moves all over the place. See that great sink in action? That was actually a changeup, and he's really developed his change. And he utilized it a lot against the Indians. I mean, against the Tigers in his last start.
1 ball, 2-strike count, and got him. Wow. Britton really impressive here at the start of the ball game. 2 strikeouts here in this inning and 3 in the game. Orioles up by 1. Into the game, Kevin Farrell from Huntington. Kevin, you've won $500 for being selected. You get $100 more for every Orioles hit during the game, and $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit a Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. So, Kevin, good luck. Jimenez ready to go. Chris Davis stands in, and he will take the pitch inside for a ball. Chris, what do you say except wow, as the numbers continue to be there for him. 8 home runs in the month of June. And he will foul that one off the mask of Santana. And against right-handed pitchers, right there with the best of the Orioles.
Yeah, Chris Davis up there with some Hall of Famers. Obviously, Roberto Alomar, 365 back in '97. But Melvin Mora, great numbers. Eric Davis, one of the best right-handed hitters in the history of the game. And Cal Ripken on that list as well.
Based on the rankings around the American League over the last 7 days, Chris Davis has been the most productive offensive player. over the last 30 days, the most productive offensive player. In a month's period, he's hit .352, scored 22 runs, driven in 25, 11 home runs, 19 extra base hits in that 30-day period.
Just raking.
Yeah. Big shift on here by the Indians, and a 2-2 delivery. Jimenez gets it on the inside corner. And Davis turns and takes a look. Second strikeout for Ubaldo Jimenez.
Questionable call right there. Two-seam fastball, Nissan pitch track. Let's take a look. He's known for trying to run it back over the plate. It doesn't look like it catches it. Or was it a Chris Davis's front hit? I'll tell you one thing. Chris Davis has had a really good eye, and he's well aware of the strike zone. That one very borderline.
That'll bring up J.J. Hardy, and he will take it for a strike. Home plate umpire Scott Berry, for those who keep track of such things, is generally noted as a hitter's umpire. With the strike zone, that means the strike zone is fairly small, close rather than expansive. But so far in this ball game, he's given the pitchers those corners. Not that they don't deserve it. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Hardy hitting at .292. And a ball is put up in the air, hitting .267 rather. That'll go to center. Bourne will come in and make the catch. 2 down.
Well, one thing Jimenez has to do is mix up his pitches, and he's got the full arsenal. Here's a look at it. He throws his fastball 53% of the time. Only a .259 batting average, but a good slider as well. Nice changeup, 200 batting average on that. Split finger, pretty much his 2-strike pitch, and an occasional curveball. He's going to utilize all of them. When we've seen that, J.J. Hardy just got a changeup.
Problem has been the walks. 7th most walks in the league at 38. And that pitch is taken down low for a ball by Wieters. Matt at .229 in an 0 for 13 as he stands in with 2 down and nobody on. And that'll be inside for a ball. Matt coming off a road trip in which he went 1 for 15 against the Tigers and Toronto. 2-0 delivery. Wieters will take it. It's their first strike. Well, Matt wants to get the bat going.
Oh, definitely. But I'll tell you one thing. He works at it every day in the batting cage. Jim Presley's in there working with him. I just don't understand the wear and tear it takes on a catcher. Matt Wieters catches just about every day and has for the past few seasons. And sometimes that bat can get a little bit long, a little slow, especially catching day games and night games. It's been a tough schedule for everybody here in the first half of the season. 3-1
delivery to him and way outside. So there's one of those walks we were talking about. Jimenez surrenders that one with 2 down. Tomorrow and Wednesday, the Orioles continue their series with the Indians here at Oriole Park to reward the Orioles. Show your Birdland pride as they battle for the American League East pennant. They have announced a buy one, get one free ticket offer for tomorrow and Wednesday's games. Buy your tickets at Orioles.com/orange. Enter the promo code ORANGE and take advantage of the limited offer. Go to Orioles.com/orange. Buy one, get one free. Terry Francona popped up outside of third, no play. I was talking with Terry about attendance. They are struggling. Cleveland, whose economy is struggling. Terry said we're trying to figure out what to do. Number one, we got to play well. We got to have a good team in the running. He said we're doing that. 2 games above 500, 4 games off the pace. He says we're not drawing well at all, and got to find a way to get people back. So they're working on all kinds of programs and ideas to try and get people back into the city in a ballpark that, like Camden Yards, is very fan friendly. It's a nice place to go and watch a game. And the pitch will be taken inside. Ishikawa's the DH.
And you know they have great fan support. I mean, how many years they're rolling out great teams, and obviously the World Series. So people love their Indians there. It's just a matter of getting them to the ballpark.
A lot of it has to do with money. Not that they're overpriced tickets, but just the economy there in Cleveland is still bad. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Ishikawa. DHing for the Orioles. Wieters on at first base. Ishikawa gets a shot in this because he's faced Jimenez 18 times. 4 for 18 with a homer. And Jimenez will miss up high. And this is what you see in a ball game that's pitched by this right-hander over the last couple of years. He will go along sometimes 2-3 innings and look like you're never going to get a hit off him, and then all of a sudden can't find a strike zone.
Exactly.
Just disappears on him. 3-1 count here, and that'll be foul the other way.
Well, we talked about just kind of trying to repeat that delivery. It's a little bit unorthodox. He has struggled with it.
So you really got to be patient against this guy. You've got to take a look, because you're not quite sure what you're going to get in any at bat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you certainly have to zone the middle. I mean, he throws enough fastballs. He'll make some mistakes out over the plate.
Runner going, ball down the line. That'll hook into the seats. Wieters on the 3-2-2 away will make his way back to first base. This play by the fan down the line. Ishikawa back with a 3-ball 2-strike count.
And another thing the Orioles are certainly well aware of, with that delivery and that arm jab, very slow to the plate. So when base runners get on there to have that steal potential, they're going to be running.
Base stealers are 6 out of 7 against Jimenez when he is pitching. Santana's only thrown out 12% of base stealers. 3-2, runner going again, and that one will be fouled off Santana, and the count will stay at 3-2. So Ishikawa making the right-hander work here in this at bat. He'll be seeing his 8th pitch coming up. Buck Showalter always checks a number of things in deciding a lineup, but like, what does each hitter do against the pitcher? And if you got somebody like Ishikawa who you can play, who's had the times against him, he puts him in and he walks it. So after getting a couple of outs, he walks 2 in a row. Wieters and Ishikawa, and the Orioles 2 on, 2 down.
Yeah, now they get one of the hottest hitters in the game. Ryan Flaherty, 2 home runs yesterday up at the Rogers Center. A couple fastballs down the heart of the plate. He did not let them pass. He hammered them over the right field wall.
So the 5 home runs and 12 RBIs. The day is coming when decisions will be made. Ryan Roberts starts his rehab tomorrow. Will be playing, and once he's got probably 3 or 4 games under his belt, the word right now is 3, he'll be back and somebody's got to go. And for Roberts, whose spot will he be taking on the 25-man? Flaherty's certainly one of the names. Casilla another. So Ryan Flaherty, knowing that, trying to make a real surge here impression-wise.
Well, he has. He's always played consistent defense for the Orioles. He showed his versatility last year, but this year getting a great opportunity at second base. And his bat, since his recall from Norfolk, has just been on fire. Take a look. First 46 games, just a 161 average with a couple home runs. His last 5 games on fire, 421 with 3 home runs, 3 multi-hit games.
Got a chance right here. The Orioles up 1-0. Runners at first and second. 1-1 delivery with 2 away. The tough part for Ryan Flaherty is going to be that come Friday, there's a 90-day measuring point that's going to be reached. He will have been on the roster for 90 consecutive days, and that Rule 5 pickup date no longer applies, meaning he can be sent down come Friday, which is exactly when Roberts is scheduled to be back. But he's going to make it tough. Into right field, Stubbs. He'll hold the runner. Wieters at third. Makes the turn and goes back. So Flaherty gets the hit, and the Orioles with 2 down have loaded the bases for Nate McLeod. Flaherty stays hot.
Take a look at the pitch. A little spinner. Ryan Flaherty staying on the breaking ball as it stays over the heart of the plate, and he hammered it out into right field. Too hard, though, with Matt Wieters being held up by Bobby Dickerson. Unable to put that run across the plate. So that will bring a trip to the mound to try and settle this down a little bit, as the Orioles have got a chance to jump out early. Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach. Sandy Alomar Jr. works the bench for this team. Mike Sawbaw's got first base. Over at third is Brad Mills. And Kevin Cash in the bullpen for Terry Francona. Jimenez with the bases loaded, 2 away. I mean, he too got a couple of fairly easy outs, strikeout fly ball to start the inning. And then those walks. 40 walks he's surrendered now in 75 innings, with 73 strikeouts.
Orioles load him up. Wieters, Ishikawa the walks, Flaherty the single. And Nate McLouth at the plate, a strikeout victim, his first time up. McLouth will go after the first pitch, out in front of it, fouls it off for a strike.
Nate here recently very aggressive early on in the count. That pitch is out over the plate. He's putting a swing on it.
A big early moment in this ball game for McLouth. He's 0 for 9 with the bases loaded this year. 0-1 count on him. Jimenez delivers. Cuts inside and up high. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
One of his firmer fastballs. Now, Jimenez, we talked about the success he had with the Rockies, and back then he was rushing his fastball up there in the mid to high 90s. Right now working in the low 90s.
1-1 delivery on the way. McLouth will take it. It's there for a strike. Nate backs off. He knew it, but couldn't react to it. Pretty good location on that one. 1-2. Well, Jimenez, one of those guys that GMs and managers look at and you just salivate, and then you go, I don't know. I don't know if he can do it. 1 ball, 2 strike count. McLouth will put it up in the air, third base side. Santana, Reynolds will put it away. So the Orioles will leave him loaded on a couple of walks and a single. The Markakis home run, still the only one up on the board. To you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by your local BMW Center. Here at Camden Yards, the Orioles have the 1-0 lead, looking to end the 3-game losing streak. And Oriole fans on hand on this night, banners in hand. Way to go, kids. Take a look at this Indian team the Orioles are facing. They are 8th in average, 6th in runs, 7th in home runs. They've had trouble pitching. The ERA is 10th overall. Their starters are ranked 9th in the American League, and their bullpen is ranked 13th in ERA. Terry Francona's club has given up a lot of walks, second most walks given. Talking with him before the game, really trying to cut that down. Obviously, that just kills your staff when you put guys on with those free passes.
Well, it sure does, and we've seen it with the Orioles on occasion. You jack your pitch count up, end up getting into the bullpen too early, and it wears them down.
Here is Drew Stubbs playing in right field. He will bring a 5-game hit streak with him to this ball game. Be followed by Bourne and Aviles at the top of the order. Britton's pitch slips away from him and will miss outside, and a 2-0 count from Zach. Boy, it's a real chance for Britton to solidify a spot on this staff. Kevin Gossman's been called back up. He's in the bullpen. He could be a starter on Friday against the Yankees, according to Buck Showalter. And Freddie Garcia sent down, reassigned. There's Kevin Gossman back with the team. He'll work in the bullpen here tonight, probably tomorrow as well. 2-1 delivery fouled away. Freddie Garcia's got to make a decision. He can either go down on his assignment to AAA or opt out and become a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think every team is looking for pitchers, especially quality veterans like a guy like Freddie Garcia. I mean, he certainly helped this Orioles team very much, and I know he made great friends here and would love to be a part of it. It's going to be an interesting decision for Freddie.
Has he got 48 hours? I didn't check on this.
I think so.
It's 43 days. 3 days for him to make the decision. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and that will just miss inside. So Britton takes it full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Franklin Stubbs. 5-game hit streak with a .313 batting average. .267 hitter off lefties. Up the middle, he's got a base hit. So Stubbs with a leadoff hit, first of the 3 hitters to lead off an inning for the Indians to reach. One lucky fan is going to win the chance to challenge Adam Jones to a competition of their choice as part of Masson's Adam Jones Fan Challenge presented by Care First. Just head over to Facebook.com/Masson Orioles to vote for your favorite finalist video by June 30th. So there you go. Options are there. You select. Here is Michael Bourne, strikeout victim his first time up. In at third base, Manny Machado. He tries to bunt. Will take it for a strike, or at least he showed bunt.
I definitely showed it. Try to suck Manny Machado in a little bit more than he already is. Open up that left side of the infield a little bit.
Britton with a look over to first base. Here's where that running game comes into play. Let's see how Francona uses it. Pitch is taken down low, 1-1. Bourne has been a leader in steals in the National League 3 straight seasons, 2009, 10, and 11. A 2-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner. Signed by Cleveland to a 4-year deal and patrols center field for them. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Runner not going. Ground ball down to first, 5.
Bourne definitely an impact player. They run him down in the outfield, and you had mentioned led the National League in stolen bases quite a few years. He's certainly a guy that can turn it on and spark an offense.
Bourne with the Atlanta Braves last season ended up with 42 stolen bases. He hit .274. A really fine year. He's a triples hitter. He had 10 triples last year. Here's the 1-2 delivery to him, and he'll foul that one off the other way. And the count will stay at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The outfield shortens way up on him in left and center. Playing in to dump one in are McLouth and Jones. Markakis in right field stays back and in fact has moved over to center a little bit. They give him the line. Britton with a 1 ball 2 strike count. Bourne is gone. Going after a pitch away. That's strikeout number 4 for Zach Britton.
That's a real nasty slider right there from Zach Britton. 80 miles an hour. Shows himself over the plate. Nice late bite at the end. Catches Bourne out in front. Can't make contact.
A big strikeout there, and that'll bring up Mike Aviles, who flied out to right field his first time up. Just the 3rd start of the year for Zach Britton, and his first here at home. Pitched in Seattle and Detroit. Runner goes. Wieters throws a good one, but it gets away. It'll roll out towards center and not going anywhere. Stubbs, he will stay at second base, and he gets the stolen base.
A real good jump right there from Stubbs. Went first move on the lefty. Ryan Flaherty just holding his glove there, but the timing was perfect. Stubbs getting in there, just knocking his glove. Real good throw right on the money. I don't know, Flash might have just whiffed that one. I thought there was going to be some contact. He didn't. He just whiffed it.
8 for 8 in stolen bases for Drew Stubbs, and that's 59 stolen bases for the Indians. You compare that with the Orioles, who have 54. So 2 ball clubs have done a lot of running. Now Aviles, runner in scoring position. 1-0 delivery to him, taken down low. Wieters the stop. And the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. No chance for Aviles to get the ball game tied up. He can get a base hit. He's had better luck against right-handers than lefties. 274 right-handers and 243 off the lefties. They're going to move Flaherty closer to the bag, keeping Stubbs maybe a step closer in that lead he's got.
Yeah, just keep him thinking out there anyway.
2-0 delivery, and that will miss inside. And the count goes to 3-0 and Aviles with Kipnis waiting on deck.
Zach trying to execute a perfect pitch, just borderline out of the strike zone, induce a chase. Aviles not biting.
3-0 count, see if he gets a green light. Does not, and will take the pitch for a strike. Not with Kipnis waiting on deck, the number 3 hitter. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Outfield gives him the left center field gap. Flaherty backs off second. 3-1 delivery, and he went around. Couldn't hold up on it. 3-2.
That's what that movement will do. 3-0 threw a 4-seam fastball at the knees. And 3-1, a nice 2-seamer with late movement on the outer third of the plate.
Zach has already struck out 1 more than he had combined in his first 2 starts against Seattle and Detroit. 3-2 delivery on the way, and he gets him and another. 5 for Britton.
Tell you what, Matt Wieters showing great confidence in his breaking ball. Nice swing and a miss there on a slider. Beautiful location. 3-2 pitch.
Well, what do you think? You got first base open, 2 down, runner at second. You have a 1-0 lead. You've got the Indians' hottest hitter coming to the plate who was hit by a pitch his first time up, Jason Kipnis. You want to work around him with Swisher on deck?
Well, I think he can do just what he did there to Aviles. Work the perimeter, hope for some, try to induce some weak contact.
See how they play it. Now Hardy will hold the runner at second. 2 down. Kipnis goes after it and fouls it off. Kipnis hitting .304 off left-handers and .270 off righties this season. As we said, he's having a tremendous month of June, hitting at .400 in the month of June. 1 home run. A pretty good matchup right here. Big lead at second, topped off, fair ball. Yes, Wieters gets him as it stayed on the fair side of the chalk, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left off. game set, and kick it off with left-hander Zach Britton showing a great breaking ball. 5 strikeouts. Nick Markakis with the glove and with the bat. He delivers the home run to give the Orioles the 1-0 lead. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick with you on the Monday night affair here as the Indians and Orioles go at it. The Indians have been a tough club on the Orioles. The Orioles have not won a season series from the Indians since 2006. They did split the series last year, 4-4. Each team playing better in the other's ballpark. And that ball will be hit the center. Bourne coming and makes the call and gets it. He had both Kipnis and Aviles back there. Manny Machado retired on 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Take a look at our Chevrolet League leaderboard, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Yeah, total bases, American League team leaders. Baltimore Orioles leading the way with 1,214 total bases over the first place Red Sox, the dynamite Detroit Tigers, Texas Rangers, and the Los Angeles Angels. Some powerhouse offenses, and the Orioles lead the way.
All those extra base hits the Orioles have put up. Tiggy with both Jim Presley and Buck Showalter before the ball game during batting practice, and I asked each of them, give me the number. I know there's more than one, but give me the number you first look at if you're looking at an offensive player that matters most to you. Buck Showalter said walks. I want to see walks. Jim Presley said I want to see total bases. It's kind of the same thing. It's the walks that help pile up total bases and on base percentage. But Buck really likes guys. You get on base, you give yourself a chance to score, and of course total bases means you're getting a lot of extra base hits and you score runs a lot more on extra base hits than you do on singles.
It's nice to have that perfect combination where a guy has a good enough eye to get some walks like a Nick Markakis and still the power to drive the ball for extra base hits and homers.
There's a Baltimore chop, should be a base hit. Long throw, not going to be in time. So Markakis is 2 for 2. One a home run and the other an infield single. Aviles did all he could with it. 1 down and 1 on. Take a look at the Orioles offense. Major League rankings. They are just unrelenting. With home runs and extra base hits, they are first, tied for second in runs. They are second in doubles, led by Manny Machado. They are third in hits, and their batting average is 4th best. You see the O's 4.9 runs per game. Those are major league rankings.
Pretty impressive.
Very, very impressive. And 4 is the cutoff number around Major League Baseball as far as runs. If you score 4 or more, you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
If you get 3 or fewer, you're going to lose.
And the thing about it is they've been so consistent. I mean, Nate McLouth, Manny Machado, Nick Markakis, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, the consistency has been there for this offense all year.
Adam Jones, runner at first base, 1 out, and he will take the pitch away. Adam is now ranked 5th in runs batted in with 55. Cabrera still on top with 75. Adam is now 3rd in hits. He's got 95 hits behind Cabrera and Machado. And Adam is tied for 2nd in runs. And he'll take it inside. He's got 53 runs scored, tied with Mike Trout, Chris Davis, and himself. I love the runs scored. That and total bases. To me, you got to score runs to win. If you got guys who are scoring runs, it means they're getting on somehow.
You got it.
And they're crossing the plate. Now somebody's got to drive them in, but you got to have somebody to drive in. And the throw over, Markakis back. 2-1 on Adam.
Well, you know, when Dan Duquette came in, what he kept preaching was on-base percentage, because he knew this was a powerhouse team with the potential to hit home runs, but he needed more guys on base, so he did more 3-run home runs.
Yeah. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Nick, pretty good lead over there. And that'll be fouled off. by Adam Jones.
Well, Adam Jones has been one of those consistent hitters. 37 extra base hits this year. Jeep inside the numbers tells you where he hits them. He's looking to turn and burn, but I will say this. He can utilize the whole field. Right field, he's got 4 of those extra base hits. Center consistent with 13, but left field, you make a mistake, he's looking to hunt it. He'll pull it down the line. 20 of his extra base hits coming to left field.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Jimenez delivers to him. Going to reach out and foul that one away and holds the count at 2-2. Valdo Jimenez now at 52 pitches, and he's only gone 2 1/3 innings. So the Oriole at bats with foul balls, deep counts already are starting to pile up on him. Markakis off first. Jones waiting down to third. That's going to go over Reynolds into left field. Markakis will stop at second base as Brantley will get it in. Orioles 2 on, 1 down here in the third. Well, voting time winding down for the All-Star game. O's need your continued support. The likes of Davis, Hardy, Jones, and Markakis in a position to start. Machado, Wieters, McLouth battling for a spot to get on the team. You can vote at Orioles.com/vote-orange. And if you vote 35 times, you'll have a chance to win that All-Star jersey autographed by the Orioles All-Stars. Remember, the voting ends on July 4, which is not far away. Go to Orioles.com/vote-orange. Runners on at first and second, 1 away. Here is Chris Davis. Chris called out on strikes his first time up. Davis will put it up in the air to third. Mark Reynolds is over and can't get it. Close. Right up against the wall and railing over there and reached in. Had a chance.
He gloved it. Great effort right there by Mark Reynolds. He can make some spectacular plays. He's been on some highlight films already this year. He goes over and finds the wall, and then that ball starts drifting away. He ran into it, kind of juggled his eyes a little bit. A pretty good effort right there by Mark Reynolds.
No fan interference there as that ball was in the stands. 0-1 count. The delivery is in the dirt, and Santana blocks it. Jimenez has had 5 wild pitches, so with that splitter sometimes it'll bounce. And Oriole base runners, aware of that, will be trying to get a good secondary lead in case he does just that. Chris Davis, 27 home runs, leading the majors. Chris puts that one up in the air off the fist to Bourne. Runners tagging. Markakis will stay. And Davis retired, and there are 2 down.
Take a look at Ubaldo Jimenez career versus the American League East. That's 6.26 earned run average in 16 starts. That's the 3rd highest earned run average among active pitchers with 10+ start. And this is his first career start versus the Orioles. So a lot of trouble against the East for Jimenez.
Had that 19-8 season back in 2010. He won 12 in 08, 15 and 12 in 09, and 19 and 8 in 2010. In 2011, ended up being traded to Cleveland. Last year was 9 and 17. And a strike taken as J.J. Hardy stands in with 2 down, runners on at first and second base.
Certainly velocity comes into play there. I think Jimenez is at that stage in his career where he's trying to develop his game, maybe in between a little bit, much like Freddie Garcia. We saw now Freddie Garcia used to have a powerful fastball. He had to kind of alter his game and mix up his pitches. And I think Jimenez is in the middle of that, transitioning through.
Hardy with a 2-strike count. Jimenez over the top and up high. We'll take it to 1-2. J.J. Hardy has faced Jimenez before. He is 2 for 6 with a home run. Lifetime off him. Markakis at second base and Jones at first. 1-2 delivery. Hardy takes it outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. For Hardy, a mighty nice June, hitting .346, 5 home runs coming into the ball game for the month of June. Would like to add to it right here. The Orioles with a 1-0 lead, down to third and foul by that that much. It missed the bag. Alfonso Marquez right there on the line. Mark Reynolds diving for it, but it was foul territory.
Yeah, that was really close. You said it, right down that line. And he is all over it. It did almost hit that base as well.
Hardy will stand back in with a 2-2 count. JJ this season, 7 of his home runs have been hit here at Camden Yards. Not this time, though. That's the splitter. Play will be made by Santana down to first base. He gets the strikeout. That'll be his third. The Orioles leave 2 on. Markakis' home run has given them the lead. We're talking about the Orioles starting pitching. See, in the month of April, not a bad record. ERA too high. In the month of May, 500. 25th. Month of June, Orioles starters 9-8. 27th in the majors in ERA. On the season now, 4 above 500 for the starters. ERA is 28th in the majors. Team ERA 4.55, which is next to last, second highest, if you will, overall on the staff. No, obviously there's been a lot of discussion, and there'll be a lot more about, do the Orioles go out and get somebody? Can they, even if they want to?
Right. I mean, it's pretty tough to go get a frontline pitcher nowadays, but you just saw a look at a couple good arms, Jason Hamill and Miguel Gonzalez, who have been really throwing well this last month. And there's a look at Kevin Gausman out in the bullpen right now in hopes that he might be able to settle in and help solidify this rotation. But there are a lot of good things going on with this starting staff. Just mentioned Gonzalez pitching well, and Hamill. Chris Tillman's been very consistent. Wei Chen's coming back, so there's a lot of optimism there.
And here is Nick Swisher, and he will take the pitch for a strike. He delivered a single his first time up. Swisher getting back into action yesterday with the Indians. Missed 6 games. Sore left shoulder had kept him out. Played first base yesterday. Went 0 for 5 in the cleanup spot. Terry Francona happy to have his bat back in the lineup, right smack dab in the middle. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him. Swisher goes to third base. Manny Machado. 1 away here in the 4th inning. Orioles 1-4-0. They've left 5. The Indians 0-2-0. They have left 3 on base. And of course, as we said regarding starters for the Orioles, if Zach Britton can have himself a good game here in his 3rd start of the season, really just his 2nd since coming back to the Orioles, it would make a tremendous difference.
It sure would. I mean, last year you saw Buck Showalter and Dan Duquette work some magic, finding starting pitchers to work in and get them over the hump, and obviously take them into the postseason. Well, this year it could be Zach Britton. You know, this opportunity could land him a spot in the rotation and really help solidify it, because he's had great numbers. He's done some really positive things for the Orioles. He won 11 ball games back in 2010 or 11.
And he's left-handed.
Yeah.
Which never hurts the cause. Breton, 1 ball, 1 strike count. Santana flied out to center his first time up. Carlos Santana, Indians catcher, will take that one away for a ball. It is going to be, to no surprise, the dog fight everybody thought it would be in the American League East, where every team is playing above 500. No other division can say that. 2-1 delivery down to third. Manny Machado in the short hop. They get the out, and there are 2 down. And the American League East is recognized not only by the fans but by the players for what it is. Adam Jones said after the game yesterday, this is what you want. You want competition. Next few years, I don't think the division winner is going to be 98 wins anymore. I think it's going to be more 90, 94 because of the competition level each team has in this division. It's each team is good, and he's absolutely right. There are, this season, probably more than any other recently, every team's got some kind of a hole. So nobody's at a real advantage to run away with it. And as a result, I just think these teams are going to beat each other up all summer, especially second half. Taken down low by Reynolds, who flied out to right his first time up.
It definitely does seem like that's the way it's going to be, but the Orioles are a very unique team right now. They're one of the youngest teams in the game, and they have experience in the postseason. So a lot of these players have experienced the losing end and then the winning end, and now I think they've raised the bar, the standard for themselves, and I think they're going to be competitive for a long time. Just look at Manny Machado, who will be in an Orioles uniform hopefully for his career.
Strike on the outside corner to Reynolds, 2-1. You cannot, though, continue to have those numbers for the starting rotation. You are not going to the postseason, said Buck Showalter today at the press conference, if your starters are not taking you deep into games. You're not going to make it. That is foul outside of third. It's the first time I've really, I mean, Buck knows that, everybody in baseball knows that, but the first time I really heard him say that in as many words. That's exactly what he said. He said, you go to the postseason if your starters go deep. If they don't, you don't.
Yeah, it definitely makes it tough. And I think the last year the Orioles were real fortunate in that their bullpen was able to step up for them the whole year. But it is so hard in the American League East. Talk about the Orioles' offensive numbers. Well, the Red Sox have power. We just came out of Toronto. They are a powerhouse team right now, red hot. You have to be able to pitch and get deep into the ball games, especially against a team in the East.
Buck really worried about trying desperately to protect the bullpen because it's used so much. He continues to say it almost every day now. I've got to protect the pieces out there. I just can't destroy the bullpen. So you get this continuous rotating of players like Kevin Gausman coming up to go into the bullpen to be available. Freddie Garcia was in the bullpen while he was up here as well as starting. That's tough, boy. That's a lot of managing. 3-2 delivery, and that'll be fouled off, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. For fans, gives you a lot to talk about, and probably one vicious second half of the season in the American League.
Well, you got that right, and I think the fans are well aware of what happened last year, all the moves that were made from AAA to the big leagues, and I think they're going to have to work that type of magic again.
And up high, so he will draw the walk. Reynolds is on with the free pass with 2 down here in the 4th inning. Help us paint the park orange on Sunday. The O's take on the Yankees. It's an 8:05 game on Sunday on ESPN. As a reward for showing your Birdland Pride fans who buy tickets to that game at Orioles.com/orange and enter the promo code ORANGE will receive a voucher good for the same number of tickets for any future Sunday through Thursday game later this year. Great offer for you, 888-848-BIRD, to go to Orioles.com/orange. Buy one, get one is what it's all about. That Sunday game. Down to first base, short hop. Davis has got it off the bat of Michael Brantley, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. The Markakis home run standing up here at Camden Yards. different years for firsts. Joe DiMaggio, 1936, first Yankee fifth MLB player to have 2 home runs in 1 inning. Did it on this date in 36. Jackie Robinson stole home for the first time in his career on this date in 1947. He would have 19 steals of homes by the time he retired. And Willie Mays in 1950 made his pro debut for the Trenton team in the Giants farm system. It was the Class B Interstate League in Trenton. All happening on this day. DiMaggio, Robinson, and Mays. There's a song there somewhere. We're talking base. Oh, never mind. Here is the ball to Jimenez, working to Matt Wieters. Wieters drew a walk his first time up. Jimenez has struck out 3 and walked a couple. Wieters on the off-speed delivery, 0-2.
Yeah, elevated a good pitch for Matt Wieters to hit right there. Another mistake from Jimenez, but he got away with that one.
Wieters, Ishikawa, and Flaherty bottom third of the order. 0-2 delivery, fisted back. He's had to work at it. 65 thrown. 0-2 delivery on the way. That ball put in the air to center field. Bourne going back, warning track wall, and goodbye! Home run! Matt Wieters breaks an 0 for 13, and the Orioles have a 2-0 lead.
There it is, Matt Wieters' 10th home run this season, and that might be something that ignites his bat. The Orioles continue put a pounding on the baseball home run wise. Jimenez flirting with disaster this whole at bat, and once again leaves one elevated in the zone, and Matt Wieters just hammers it to straightaway center.
75th career for the Oriole catcher, and the 10th of this season. And the Orioles have a 2-0 lead on their 5th hit of the ball game as Matt Wieters delivers the long ball. And that'll be taken inside by Ishikawa. Drew a walk his first time up. The Orioles now at home have hit 47 of their 106 home runs. They've been out homered 58-47 now here at Camden Yards. So during this homestand, they'd like to pick up on that. And you saw Markakis going by. He's got the other home run. 2 solo shots. That's what Jimenez gives up. Solo home runs. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball. Jimenez has now given up 12 home runs on the season. And he is truly a pitcher that struggles if you don't get that first strike. Fouled away. And he goes 1-0. After that, hitter's 275. If he gets the first strike, the average drops all the way down to 163. He's 11 for 17 on first pitch strikes tonight, and Markakis able to get the home run off him after he set him up. And a swing and a miss on a pitch away.
A little backdoor slider. It looked like 83 miles an hour. It's Travis Ishikawa. On the box, looks like it's just off the plate. Trying to fight it off. Can't quite get to it.
4 strikeouts for Jimenez. And Ryan Flaherty a single his first time up. Ryan shows bunt, drops a beauty. Reynolds fires by everybody. Backed up. Kipnis staying at first base. 2 for 2 tonight. Ryan Flaherty.
There you go. Showed his power up in Toronto and lays down a perfect bunt. Now, Ryan Flaherty, one of those guys that comes out for extra hitting and every day has worked on bunting for base hits just to help his batting average. And this one well executed. They get in there safely.
So that's going to be 6 hits for the Orioles. And here's Nate McLeod. He has struck out and popped out. Reynolds will move in at third on the grass. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike to him. McLeod checking with Bobby Dickerson down at third. Orioles 2 home runs, 2-0 lead. Then there's his pitch, and that's there for a strike. And it goes to 0-2. Menace has been great on the road. 3-1 mark. And a 2.77 ERA. Much better than at home. And that one may have been foul tipped. In any event, it is a strikeout. That's 5 Ks for him.
Almost didn't look like Nate saw him that hole at bat. 3 pitches. That's all it took. And this fastball took off in the outside corner. And Nick just swinging underneath that one.
And that will bring up Manny Machado. Runner at first and 2 down. Machado has flied out twice. Jimenez trying to work around these solo home runs he surrendered. And the pitch outside for a ball. For Machado here in the month of June, hitting at 300 even coming into the ball game. Overall at 320 on the year. 1-0 delivery, and Manny to short. Aviles goes to second. Kipnis is there. Orioles get a run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Matt Wieters, he had an 0 for 13. That swing of the bat ended that, and it gave the Orioles a 2-0 lead. Achiever in you.
Eddie Gamboa, he is starting to learn how to throw that knuckleball, and it was very effective yesterday versus Altoona. 7 1/3 innings pitched, just 1 hit through 108 pitches, 59 of them for strike, 7 punch-outs. This season 3-5 record with a 3.77. It's working and it's being noticed. Trust me. We're always looking for arms, and he's having success with that. He's trying to polish it off. See if they give him a promotion up to AAA and see if how it works there.
Polished off the old tuna. Altoona, the curve. The Altoona curve. Where did they come up with that? Here is Rayburn. I'll get an answer to that shortly, and that is in there for a strike. Somebody from Altoona will drop a line. Ryan Rayburn, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Rayburn, the DH in the ball game, followed by Stubbs, and then Bourne at the top of the order. Only hits off Zach Britton, a single by Swisher in the first inning, a single by Stubbs in the third. And Zach working the corners. He's had it all going here tonight. I mean, he's painting the corners, and that breaking ball right from the first inning has really looked good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's shown that for strikes. Getting his strikeouts, and here recently in the last couple innings getting a lot more ground balls. What we expected out of Zach Britton.
Pops that one up in the air to right. Another long run for Markakis. This one, though, is in play. One down in the 5th inning. Before the Orioles take on the Indians, tune in to the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tomorrow, 5 to 6:30. Join Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, Mel Antonin. They'll recap the game tonight, look ahead to the pitching matchup. Chris Tillman, Justin Masterson for tomorrow night. And they'll go beyond the beltways for the biggest headlines from around the world of baseball. That's the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tomorrow, 5 to 6:30. Maybe we'll highlight the Altoona curve. And Stubbs will take the pitch down low for a ball. Stubbs a single in his only at bat. You could have, and I'm sure many people do, great collections of memorabilia from minor league teams, because some of the great names in baseball are associated with minor league ball clubs. 1-1 delivery is swung on and missed. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Drew Stubbs.
Yeah, showing great command of that big curveball or slider from Zach Britton right now.
1-2 delivery. What's the team that's called the Lugnuts?
Lansing Lugnuts.
The Lansing Lugnuts. I mean, is that a great name or what? Think of what you could do with that on T-shirts and cups and hats. 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch, and a 3-ball, 2-strike count.
A pretty good pitch right there. Nice change up at the bottom of the strike zone. Didn't get the call.
Three-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and that'll be taken down low. So Stubbs is on for the second time, a single and now a walk. The second surrendered by Zach Britton, one away, fifth inning. And it will turn the order over. Michael Bourne has struck out twice. Orioles with a 2-0 lead on the solo home runs by Markakis and Wieters. Indians have had some chances here. They've left 4 on base, 2 of those in scoring position. And the throw over to get Stubbs back. He has 1 stolen base in the game.
I was talking a little bit today with Rick Adair, Orioles pitching coach, about Zach Britton and somewhat of the transformation he has made. Of course, has had opportunities up here in the big leagues with the Orioles and just couldn't quite, catch on and be consistent. And when he went down to AAA, of course, working with pitching coach Mike Griffin down there, somehow just found a way to calm himself out there. And even if he walks a batter or throws a home run pitch, he's able to get right back into his focus a little bit quicker. And talked about the success he had down there in Norfolk, just reeling off some quality starts. And really that's what gave him the opportunity to get the call back up here.
That'll be popped up to short. Hardy.
You see a nice adjustment right there. Yeah, nice adjustment. Now walked the number 9 hitter, and boom, got a quick out.
And on Thursday, the first 10,000 fans 15 and over at the Orioles 7:05 game against the Indians are going to get that Birdland beach towel presented by Visit Sarasota County. Show your colors here at the park and all summer long with that great beach towel. Get your tickets in advance and save some bucks. 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. Avila's coming up. He is struck out and flied out. Runner on at first, 2 down. And a throw over. The historian for the Altoona Curve has spoken. They were founded in 1999, an expansion team in the Eastern AA League. They are named the Curve is in reference to the Horseshoe Curve, a National Historic Landmark. Boasting the best train watching in America, derives from the U-turn type curve trains make while passing through the mountainous regions where the team plays. You'd like to know more? Well, sure. They are tied very closely to the history of the region. They are actually in the People's Natural Gas Field is where the ballpark is. The curve play in the shadow of baseball's only wooden roller coaster, built in 1894. They are owned by a Pittsburgh attorney and also by a hockey player, a guy by the name of Mario Lemieux, part of the ownership of the Curve. much like the stick he played with. So there you go, the Altoona curve, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to find that information only here, nowhere else, right here in my hand on this piece of paper.
Oh, boy.
1-0 count on Aviles. 2 down, runner at first base, and that'll be fouled off. Knew that vacation wasn't long enough. Terry Francona's ball club coming in with a good homestand under their belt, even though they lost yesterday to the Twins. The Orioles here at home 20-15 on the year. Runner goes and fouled off. Oof. Trying to protect right there. Aviles went after one, probably out of the strike zone, but he was going to go after it in any event.
He sure was. That pitch up and away, and he tomahawked that one up into the stands.
Now Zach Britton is up to 80 pitches. Trying to get through the 5th inning here with one more out. Wieters checking over with the skipper Buck Showalter and his mentor. And the pitch will be taken away for a ball. So the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. John Russell, the bench coach. A lot of work. Kadir, the pitching coach, sitting next to Jim Presley, the hitting coach. 2 ball, 2 strike, and a throw over again. Stubbs got a great jump first time. So Britton trying to make sure that doesn't happen again here with a 2-2 count.
Yeah, real tough, obviously, with a lefty. You pick something up. You can read that move. Zach very quick. I think Stubbs went first move the last time.
2-2 delivery on the way and a floater that slipped away. You saw the signs coming from the bench. They do come from John Russell, who is the bench coach and is Matt Wieters' mentor. So when Matt's looking over there, that's who he's looking at. And what he's not giving the sign for the pitch, it's what he wants the pitcher to do. Throw over, step off, hold the ball. Down to third base, Manny Machado. And he's got it. You know the beauty of that play, Machado gets right in front of the ball. No side saddle. Thus able to make an easy play out of it. Orioles up 2-0. Tonight's Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game gets $500 for any Orioles home run. And for Kevin Farrell, good luck. You've already won $1,100 tonight. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles. Good luck. 2-0 lead. Orioles on top of the Indians in this first of 4. Markakis will lead it off. Jones and Davis against Ubaldo Jimenez. 29-year-old right-hander. 5-4 in the year. Pitching against the Orioles for the first time. And in doing so, in the first inning, gave up a 2-out homer to Nick Markakis. Nick getting his 8th of the year and now has 40 RBIs.
Nick coming up in this inning, he's proven he can be a great leadoff hitter, and this will be a great opportunity for the Orioles. Going to keep the pressure on Jimenez. It's typically a tough inning for him.
Nick, one of the better hitters in his home yard. A .340 batting average starting the day here at Camden Yards. 9th best home average in the American League. And then Jimenez will miss outside with it. 1-2 strike count. Rest of this series tomorrow night. Chris Tillman against Justin Masterson. Jason Hamill works against Scott Kazmer in game 3. And a chopper. Somebody better cover first. Jimenez does. Nice play. Tough one as Swisher put that throw a little bit behind him and knew it. And gave a little salute to his pitcher for being able to handle it and find the bag.
Yeah, Jimenez showing some athleticism right here as he gets over to the bag. Swisher puts it behind him a little bit, and he's got to make an adjustment on the run, find the bag, catch the ball, and you see the good focus right there and knowing where he was. Pretty good play defensively by Jimenez.
So 1 down. That'll bring up Jones. Miguel Gonzalez, Corey Culver will be the starting pitchers in game 4. The Orioles will make one visit to Cleveland later in the season. For the 7 games these teams will play against one another this year. 1-0 count. Jones will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Adam a single. Andy is flied out. Good pitching duel underway as we watch the Orioles hit here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 1-1 delivery. Jones fouled the other way.
The Orioles have consistently put some pressure on Jimenez throughout this ball game. Solo home run in the first, then a couple base on balls and a single put some pressure on him, but the Orioles unable to capitalize in the second. Another kind of demanding inning in the third where he came out unscathed, but the solo home run in the 4th. They want to keep putting that pressure on, try to put a couple extra runs up there.
That one will go to right field for a base hit in front of Stubbs. So Jones 2 for 3 in the ball game on this time with 1 away. When the Orioles win, everybody wins, and all season long when the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Just enter promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. Seven hits in the ball game for the Orioles, 2 home runs and 5 singles. Chris Davis has struck out and flied out. Chris with a 4-game hit streak and the big cut for strike 1. Chris now has 51 extra base hits, on pace for 109. That would be the all-time Orioles record if he stays anywhere close to that pace. Brady Anderson has a club record of 92 set in 1996. Jones back to the bag.
Take a look at the deep inside of the numbers right here. Pitchers have trouble with Chris Davis. 0-1 count. They have a little bit more success, but 32 hits, 242, which is still above average. But if they fall behind, Chris Davis makes them pay. Very tough early in the count on Chris Davis because he's such a dangerous hitter. You make a mistake, 0-0 count, he's going to make you pay. So the first pitch strike, if they're able to get away with it, has to be a quality strike for sure.
That one went off Santana, and he goes out to the mound, regrouping. Carlos Santana, the Indian catcher.
Let's take a look right here. The foul ball. Chris Davis, and this just gets on the forearm.
Nothing but flesh.
Yeah, no batting there.
Santana back behind the plate, talking with Scott Berry, the home plate umpire. 2-strike count. Davis with 1 down, shift on in the infield. And a big swing and a miss. So Davis goes down, and another strikeout. Jimenez gets his 6th of the ball game.
Jimenez getting best power hit in the game on an elevated fastball. Chris Davis just swinging underneath it. Saw it big. Too aggressive right there with 2 strikes.
Jimenez has struck out as many as 9 this year. Did that against Seattle. His career high 13 back in 2010 when he pitched for the Rockies against San Diego. Now J.J. Hardy, and Hardy will take it outside. He has been a strikeout victim, and he is flied out. Throw over to get him back. Jimenez has had 53% of his outs on fly balls this year. Kind of surprising for a split sinker ball pitcher.
Yeah. And I think that just comes back to the command issues, leaving some pitches elevated up in the zone. And hitters are aware of that, so you can wait them out for mistakes.
Jones goes, and he's out. Fine throw made by Santana. And Jones is caught stealing, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left on base. Orioles lead.
Markakis in the first with a solo shot. With the Orioles early lead, then Matt Wieters follows up with another drive to center, another solo shot. Zach Britton has been on. He gets Rayburn looking, Bourne swinging on the slider, and Avila swinging on the slider. Geico saving people money on more than just car insurance. Take a look. It's been quite a pitcher's duel. Zach Britton pitching very well with the 5 strikeouts, just a couple base on balls, and Jimenez pretty much matching him other than the 2 solo home runs. He has 6 strikeouts and a couple base on balls as well.
Good ball game to kick off this 4-game set. And Zach Britton getting it done. He'll work here in the 6th inning, middle of the order with Kipnis, Swisher, and Santana. Adam Jones ending the inning on the caught stealing. Breaking ball that doesn't for Adam, the first time he's been caught. 9 out of 10 for Adam Jones.
Well, they saw an opportunity there. Of course, Wayne Kirby's been so good this year, but recognizing things from pitchers. And obviously, we talked about the times that Jimenez has, so there was an opportunity, but a pretty good throw by Santana.
Jason Kipnis, the .282 batting average, and he'll take that one into the corner. That's going to be a base hit. He's on his way to second base. Markakis up with it, and that'll be a leadoff double So Kipnis is on, and for the second time tonight, the Indians get the leadoff man on base. First time with a two-bagger.
Kipnis staying red hot. He gets this pitch up and in, and he just turns on it, hammering it down the right field line. Nick Markakis giving chase, but an easy stand-up double for Kipnis.
So Kipnis now in the month of June has had 29 hits in 72 at-bats. And he's on at second. And that brings up Swisher, a single, and he is grounded out. Nick Swisher, of course, a lot of games played against the Orioles and in this ballpark. He's got 24 career home runs against the Orioles, and 18 of them have been hit here at Camden Yards. All those seasons playing with the Yankees. And he asked for the timeout as Britton is coming to the set. The Indians overall are 5th in the league with runners in scoring position. Very respectable 273 average as a team. Nobody out, runner at second base, and the pitcher called strike.
Look at the most home runs versus the O's since 2007, and you talked about it. Nick Swisher at 21 in Encarnacion. We saw the damage he could do over the weekend. 21 as well. A-Rod on that list. Cano, Longoria, and Kevin Youkilis like the long ball against the O's.
That ball to the middle is going to be a base hit. That's going to get a run in. Kipnis makes the turn. Jones has no play. So an RBI single by Swisher, and the Indians are on the board and make it a 2-1 ball game. So the leadoff double pays off, and 25 RBIs now for Swisher.
Well, pretty good piece of hitting. Swisher not trying to do too much in this situation. Stays hard to the middle, and there's a big hole over there. He finds it. It scoots by Zach Britton, picking up that RBI.
2 for 3 ball game for Swisher. He's on at first, still nobody out. And here's Santana. Santana has flied out and grounded out. Dangerous hitter if he gets a pitch to pull. And he'll take the breaking ball for ball 1. Santana against the Orioles, a lifetime .286 hitter with 4 home runs. Swisher being held by Davis, playing off the bag at first. And the 1-0 delivery by Britton. That's going to go into the gap. McLeod will try and get over to cut it off. On his way to third, he dropped the ball, and the runner goes to second. Think that'll be a double for Santana. He was making the turn. We'll wait on the score, but in any event, runners at second and third and nobody out.
Well, the Orioles kind of caught a break right there with the bobble from Nate McLeod. Nick Swisher just kind of cruising into third, not keeping his head up. He might have had a chance to score. Nate McLeod coming up to try to keep the double play in order. A little bit of bobble allows Santana to get in there safely.
And indeed it is a double to Santana. So the Orioles bullpen is up here in the 6th inning with nobody out as Tommy Hunter gets ready to go. Zach Britton getting touched up here. 5 hits against him, and 3 of those have come in this inning. And the first extra base hits, the 2 doubles coming here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, certainly under some pressure right now. He's done a great job. He's had a real good ball game, but this is a pressure situation here for Zach Britton. He's got to be able to execute some pitches.
Like Showalter saying before the ball game, TJ McFarland is not available. I mean, emergency-wise, he could, but not available tonight and probably not tomorrow.
Yeah, he threw a lot of innings up there in Toronto. Really helped out the bullpen by eating up so many innings.
Here is Mark Reynolds, and Reynolds skips out of the way, and a nice play made by Wieters to block that. Runners at second and third, nobody out, and as the baseball gods would have it, it's the former Oriole Mark Reynolds who stands at the plate with a chance for a couple of RBIs if he can pick up a base hit here. Reynolds coming in, has not had a hit in his last 6 at bats. He drew a walk his last time up. And that one does get away. The runner will stay. Wieters got enough of it to slow it down. And the count goes to 2-0 from Britton.
A couple dangerous pitches there down in the dirt to Mark Reynolds. Matt Wieters just getting enough of it to keep it close enough. Actually, it wasn't Matt. It was home plate umpire Scott Berry. It hit off his foot, Matt's glove, but then the foot there by the umpire, you see it slow it down a little bit more.
Swisher at third base, Santana at second. And a 2-0 count on Reynolds, so a real dangerous pitch here. And Reynolds will take it inside. Count goes 3-0. Michael Brantley waiting on deck. Mark Reynolds, 250 off the lefties, 222 off right-handers. And the intentional pass will be given, so the decision had been made that they were not going to take a chance with him. And the intentional pass will be the third walk surrendered in the ball game, and that's going to load the bases with nobody out for Michael Brantley.
Well, this is a situation here where Zach Britton's two-seamers got to work. Great opportunity to get 2 outs. Help him try to get closer to being out of this inning.
Well, here's a big moment in the ball game. The Orioles have a 2-1 lead. The Indians have put one in the inning. Now have the bases loaded, nobody out. Infield double play depth. And Brantley will take the pitch inside for a ball. So a struggle for Zach Britton right now. Swisher at third, a single, double by Santana at second, then the walk to Reynolds at first. .1-0 delivery. Brantley up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Swisher will score. Santana being waved home. Here's the throw by Jones. Not in time as the ball bounces away. And it's a 2 RBI single by Brantley, and the Indians have a 3-2 lead.
It almost looked like Brantley was sitting on that breaking ball. He'd seen it earlier in the ball game. And it's a big one, but he takes it right back up the box, not trying to do too much with it. It's a good part of the bat on and able to pick up a couple RBIs and give the Indians a lead.
You can see by the look on the face of the manager, not what he wanted here. Does not get the innings out of Zach Britton he had hoped for. Britton can't get anybody out here in the 6th inning, and it's back to the bullpen and Tommy Hunter. Tough inning. I mean, he had really dominated the Cleveland hitters coming into this inning, and then it fell apart.
Well, it sure did. I mean, 5+ innings, 6 hits, and 4 of them in this inning. 3 runs, and all of them earned. 3 walks. He had command and was having great success at the beginning of this ball game. The 5 punch-outs, but boy, it fell apart there. The 6th, Tommy Hunter now in. This will be his 30th appearance. 3-1 with a 2.23 earned run average, 32 strikeouts to 7 base on balls. Tommy in his last start, look at the opponent average 197. He has been so effective against righties. Last start, though, gave up a home run. He's looking to get back on track a little bit. He has been dominant, though, for the Orioles, pretty much out of the pen.
Rayburn is up, has Machado in and Davis in. They're playing the bunt at the corners. Rayburn is struck out and flied out. Ryan Rayburn, the DH, has nobody out. Reynolds on at second base. Michael Brantley with a 2 RBI base hit is on at first. And the Orioles look for a bunt with Drew Stubbs, the number 9 hitter, waiting on deck. Has not shown bunt. Takes the pitch for a strike and is quickly behind 0-2.
What a good fastballs right at the knees, 97 miles an hour on that one.
Rayburn has an 0 for 3 lifetime against Tommy Hunter. So the Indians coming up with a big inning here. So far 3 runs in. Reynolds got that intentional pass in order to get to Brantley, and he made the Orioles pay with a 2 RBI single. 0-2 delivery on the way, and that's outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count from Tommy Hunter.
That's a pitch that can be so effective against righties for Tommy Hunter. He's got such a live 4-seam fastball, 97, 98, 99 miles an hour at times. And then that hard cutter, he throws 93, 94 miles an hour.
1-2 delivery on the way, and he got him. So Rayburn goes down swinging.
Well, here's a look at this 98 mile an hour fastball. Just challenges him up in the zone. Rayburn cannot catch up to this one.
Tommy Hunter against the Indians has a 1-1 record. This is the 5th game he's appeared against them lifetime. 3 times as a starter. Indians have a .323 batting average off him. And the pitch taken for a strike by Drew Stubbs.
They're kind of unfair, you know. I mean, Tommy Hunter, starting pitcher by trade, and moved to the Orioles bullpen. Of course, the success has kept him in there, but has all the pitches, and he just saw a 98 mile an hour fastball get blown by Rayburn, and he gets a nasty curveball for first pitch.
Mike DeMuro at first base saying no swing, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. So Hunter trying to limit the damage here in the 6th inning. Bourne, the leadoff batter, on deck. In the air, left center field. McLouth coming over. McLouth will get there. Runners halfway go back. 2 down. McLouth and Jones communicating out there. That ball hung up for them.
Well, nice job by Tommy Hunter so far to this point to get 2 quick outs in a tough situation.
Now Michael Bourne. Bourne has had his chances in the ball game. Struck out in the 3rd inning, had a runner on at second. Struck out leading the ball game off. 0 for 3. Bourne 1 for 3 off Hunter, and a bloop center field. Jones there, and he's got it. So Tommy Hunter comes on and retires the 3-face, but 3 across the plate in the 6th inning. It's a 3-2 lead for the Indians. Right now, the Indians have a 3-2 lead. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick. We were talking between innings, Mike. You look at Zach Britton, the work he did early in the game. What happens when you get to that inning?
Just a little bit of focus issues, I think, because he was really cruising through. He was keeping this Indians lineup at bay. He had command of all of his pitches, and a couple elevated pitches put a little pressure on him, and he just lost his focus. And you got to give the Indians a little bit of credit. Obviously, they came through with some big hits, but just couldn't quite get out of it.
So, bullpen on for the Orioles. Now they're down and have got to try and make a comeback. 3 runs on 4 hits with a walk in that 6th inning. And the 3 runs will be charged to Zach Britton. And the Orioles come right back, kick it off with a base hit by Hardy. So the Orioles get the leadoff man on against Jimenez here in the 6th inning. And this relentless offense of the Orioles, as they have done so often after a team has scored against them in the half inning before, they'll come back and score in that next inning. They're going to try and get it done here. Matt Wieters, his 10th home run came in the 4th inning. He has homered and walked in the ballgame.
Well, we had mentioned earlier that Jimenez is averaging 5 1/3 innings pitched this year. And not wasting any time getting that bullpen fired up. Matt Wieters, 75th career home run, hammered one to center field off Jimenez. Solo shot. At that point, made it 2-0.
0-1 delivery on the way. Wieters will tip that one foul at the plate, and the count goes to 0-2. Bullpen action with Rich Hill and Brian Shaw warming up for the Indians with that 95 pitch count by Jimenez. He's in the last inning, you got to believe, if he can get through it. 0-2 count. And Wieters launches another one. That's going to go to right field wall way. It'll take a bounce in the corner, and it is a foul ball. He just missed. Extra base hit, maybe an RBI.
Sure did. That ball was hugging that line. Just hooked it a little bit. Once again with 2 strikes as well.
Evaldo Jimenez trying to work his way out of a potential jam here. As we said, even though he's got that splitter that you get ground balls off, he hasn't gotten a lot of those. Balls been put in the air tonight by the Orioles, as it has been all year by opposing teams. Pitch will be taken away. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
You saw Santana back there making sure he got that one off the plate. He literally set up in the right-hand batter's box. Wanted to get it up and away. Nothing too close to Matt Wieters.
1-2 delivery will miss inside. Indians 3 runs, 6 hits. The Orioles 2 runs, 8 hits. Hardy off first base. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and Wieters puts another one up in the air. Shallow right field. Plenty of time for Stubbs to get under it. And he'll put it away. 1 down, bottom of the 6th inning. Celebrate summer at Oriole Park by picking up the Birdland Summer 6-pack. You get a ticket to 6 games of your choice, including 2 against either the Yankees or Red Sox, all for one low price. You pay non-prime prices for prime games that you don't want to miss. So lock in your seats now. 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. And Terry Francona on his way to the mound to get his starter. Rich Hill is going to come out of the bullpen for the Indians, so both teams turn to their pens here in this 1st of 4. Indians lead by 1. for Jimenez as he leaves. There's the line.
Yeah, 5 1/3, just like was predicted. Gave up the 8 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned on solo shots. Did have 6 strikeouts, a couple walks. That pitch count up to 99. And he now gives way to Rich Hill. He's been the lefty matchup guy, but Buck Showalter's going to counter and make a move. That earned run average at 7.58, 23 strikeouts with 12 base on balls. So certainly not the numbers manager Terry Francona would like to see. There you go. Opponent batting average 307. The lefties obviously a little bit better at 243, but the righties 368 on Rich Hill.
And of late, he's really been touched up by the last 18 games. He's got 20 hits in 12 1/3 innings, 14 earned runs and 3 home runs. Ouch. So Danny Valencia coming up there. You see the numbers, lefties, righties, why he's coming into the ball game. And the 33-year-old left-hander will go to work here with a runner on at first base and 1 down.
Certainly a favorable matchup for Buck Showalter and the Orioles.
And Hill will step off. Only 1 down, runner at first base. And the throw over almost sidearmed away as Swisher came off the bag to get it. So both managers now in a position of trying to match it up, and the breaking ball will be in there for a strike.
A big slow curve and a sweeping slider as well, and a 4-seam fastball. Goes in the low 90s.
As a pinch hitter, the Orioles 126 average, major league average 230. Another breaking ball, and that's going to catch the outside corner. Valencia as a pinch hitter has gone 1 for 4. Sees a couple of breaking balls to start him out here in the pinch hit at bat.
Yeah, big ones.
Short lead at first base for Hardy. Game win streak by Toronto being tested tonight. Tampa Bay shutting them out 4-0. They're in the 7th. Toronto's got a tough road trip coming up beginning tonight at Tampa Bay. And Santana vying for an NBA inside job right there. Wow.
That's a pretty impressive play for a catcher. His fastball takes off. And you watch Santana, he's literally going to come off his feet to make this play. Do a 180.
Not try that at home. 1-2 delivery on the way, staying away from Valencia, trying to keep that power bat away in this game. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Everything has been in the outside part of the plate or outside. Hardy held at first by Swisher, but not going anywhere, even though that's the 3rd throw made.
Well, you never know. There might be an ambush over there with Wayne Kirby and J.J. Hardy. Rich Hill very slow to the plate. But I doubt it.
That's a pregnant pause. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and again a breaking ball. That'll miss down low as it was bounced. So the count goes to 3-2, 1 away. Valencia up. Kirby talking at length at first base with Hardy. Would you send him?
No.
No. I wouldn't either. See what Buck Showalter wants to do here. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Runner not going, and he got him. Again, the breaking ball. Valencia is ready to go to first base, but won't.
arguing the check swing call. And so was Buck Showalter. So it certainly wasn't a called strike. It's going to be a good look at it on the pitch track. Did Danny Valencia go? It looks like he held up there. He definitely held up. Danny's wondering if he said it was on the swing.
Pitch strike showed it was a strike anyway, but called it on the swing. There are 2 down. So Ryan Flaherty up. I don't know if Rich Hill's trying to advance a runner on his own by throwing the ball away. That's 4 throws over, and 2 of them have almost gotten away.
Well, Swisher's going to make a highlight film at first.
2 down now here in the 6th inning. Flaherty the 2 singles. And that pitch will catch the inside corner for a strike. Fans getting on the home plate umpire as that call was made after the last one on Valencia. 0-1 delivery. And the pitch will be taken up high for a ball. Flaherty 231 off the left-handers. Outfield pretty deep on him. Bourne and center backed up a couple of steps. 1-1 delivery to him inside, not where Santana wanted it, and reached back in to get a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Yeah, command certainly has been an issue with Hill. He averages 6 walks per 9 innings. You got to be patient.
Two-ball 1-strike count. Orioles down by 1. Hardy the lead at first, and gets him on a swinging strike. 2-2.
All right, Flaherty getting a little bit over anxious on a fastball. And that was a slider down in the dirt.
Two strikeouts here in this ball game. Jimenez had 6. Hill's got 1.
Stall tactics.
Why? Looks like he's doing this on his own. I don't see any signs coming from the dugout of the Indians. Perhaps he didn't warm up enough in the bullpen. Manager's coach is not going to question this sort of thing if it makes the pitcher more comfortable and he feels more confident. See Hardy kind of smiling.
Yeah.
Probably telling Swisher, I didn't know they knew I was this fast. 2-2 breaking ball, and held up on it. I want to check, but he didn't go. So now the runner's going. 3-ball, 2-strike count, 2 down. Hardy at first. Jeremy Hellickson is 1-hitting Toronto. 1 hit in 7 innings tonight. Aaron Sebia got it. Tampa Bay leading Toronto 4-0. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way. Flaherty pops it up. Shallow left field. Shortstop angle. Aviles. And he's gone. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Hardy on, but not around. 3-2 Indians. Chapin Davis Investments, Baltimore's oldest and largest full-service investment company. Call 1-800-222-3246 or visit chapindavis.com. And by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com. With Mike Bordick, I'm Gary Thorne here at Camden Yards. Thunderstorms went through before the ball game, and it's been a great night for baseball here in this beautiful ballpark. Indians lead at 3-2. Tommy Hunter on a relief. We want to say hello to the Lozenak family, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Bob Lozenak, a businessman here in Baltimore, and his family. You know, you never know. They are managing partners in the Altoona Curve. How about that?
There you go.
Thanks for letting us know that. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Aviles, a ground ball to short. Hardy. That came right off the lip. Aviles retired, 1 away, 7th inning. So Tommy Hunter's retired all 4 faced. Coming on for Zach Britton. Britton charged with the 3 runs on the 6 hits, 3 walks, 1 intentional, 5 strikeouts. Jimenez giving up the home runs to Markakis in the 1st inning, and Wieters solo shot in the 4th inning. He left 2 runs, 8 hits over 5 1/3. The pitch taken for a ball by Kipnis. Kipnis with a double, now a 6-game hit streak. He is 1 for 2, and he has been hit by a pitch. And we'll take that pitch inside.
And when you look at this ball game, and you mentioned that obviously Buck Showalter and the Orioles would love to have seen Zach Britton go another inning, or at least a full inning, get a little bit deeper in the ball game. But the value of what T.J. McFarland did up in Toronto, you know, throwing 4 1/3 innings up there and really taking one for the team. There were a couple runs added on to his earned run average, but so important coming into this big series here at home, saving the bullpen, an extra opportunity. And there's a look at TJ. He's done a super job for the Orioles in the role that he's been asked to do.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery to Kipnis from Hunter, and that will be foul back. Orioles back home here for the 4 games against Cleveland, 3 games coming up against the Yankees over the weekend. It's a Friday night game, a 4 o'clock Saturday game, and then the Sunday night game at 8. 2-2 delivery on the way. Kipnis puts it up in the air to McLeod. Nate's got it, and there are 2 away here in the 7th inning. MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers baseball, live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Just text at Bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details. Nick Swisher, 2 for 3 against the left-hander Britton. Now faces Tommy Hunter. 250 right-handed, 221 left coming into the ball game. He's had 7 home runs, 4 of those hit left-handed. One-0 delivery by Hunter, and down low 2-0. Swisher's gone 2 for 9 with a home run against the Orioles right-hander. 2-0 delivery. He'll take it away, 3-0.
Tommy well aware of Swisher's power potential on a fastball, so mixing it up a little bit, but now found himself, he's fallen behind 3-0. He's got to come with something. Probably a green light here. 2 down. 3-0 delivery. Swisher takes it up high, so 4 not close. Hunter surrenders the walk. Swisher is on with 2 away for Santana. Santana doubled and scored in the 3-run 6th inning. Swisher had an RBI, and Michael Brantley had the bases loaded single that drove in 2, accounting for the 3 Cleveland runs. Now Santana with 2 down and a runner on at first base. Santana 1 for 3 off Hunter.
Right-handers pitch to him. He'll jackknife away from that one. 1-0. Indians have struggled against the American League East coming into this ball game. 6-17 against Eastern Division teams for Terry Francona's ball club, even though they're overall 2 above 500. 1-0 delivery up high, and Hunter 6 in a row out of the strike zone.
Yeah, he's got to work himself down back into the zone. So we have to be careful. I mean, there's some dangerous hitters, but Tommy Stuff too good to be working too much of the perimeter here.
Two-0 delivery. Santana going for the long ball. 2-1. The Indians have gone 1-6 against Boston, 1-6 against New York, 2-4 against Tampa Bay, and 2-1 against Toronto for that mark of 6-17 against the East by the Indians. First meeting against the Orioles. That one, he jammed him with it. Shallow center. Jones coming hard will get there and put it away. No runs, no hits. A base runner left on. 7th inning stretch time. Cleveland 3, the Orioles 2.
Yeah, check it out. Nate McLouth at 266 with 3 home runs leading off this inning. Manny Machado, of course, been red hot all season. 342 with 4 home runs. Nick Markakis 336 with 3 home runs, and that's all off the fastball.
So the Orioles trying to bounce. The comeback against the Indians. McLouth with the 2 strikeouts, and he has popped out 0 for 3 in the ball game. Nate having the 7-game hit streak, however, and will now work against the left-hander. The bullpen has remained active for the Indians with Manny Machado and then Nick Markakis due up in the inning. Rich Hill coming on to work against the Orioles in that last inning, getting the final 2 outs. McLouth hitting .270 against left-handers, more than respectable. He has really picked the pace up against the lefties with each passing opportunity. He gets Reynolds in at third base and takes the breaking ball for a strike, and again questions it as he turns away. Hill with the 0-1 delivery, and that sweeping pitch is outside for a ball. 1-1. He has pretty good variation on his off-speed pitches and that fastball. I mean, his fastball is only 90, but the off-speed pitch looks like about half the speed.
Sure does.
Real good pitch, kept it down and away. 1-2.
Right, very tough on hitters. Rich Hill is the command. He seems to be all over the place. You can't get comfortable by any means.
1 ball, 2 strike count. McLouth fouling it back to keep the at bat alive. It'll stay at 1-2. Both of these managers have had to use their bullpens fairly extensively over the last series, more so for the Orioles against Toronto than did Terry Francona's ball club against the Twins. But they would like to get these first relievers at least a couple of innings. 1-2, up and in, and again foul back to hold the count. Hill has pitched all over the place. Career goes back to 2002. He's out of Boston. Signed as a free agent by the Indians this year. He pitched with the Red Sox in 25 games last year. He's been with the Chicago Cubs earlier. That'll bounce away. Major League record of 23-20 coming into this year with an ERA of 4.5.
He's left-handed in there.
That'll get you a job.
Certainly will. And he's, got enough deception, obviously, throwing across his body a little bit. Arms and legs coming at hitters.
Shattered the bat. Bat goes further than the ball. Played easily by Swisher to the bag, and McLouth is retired. The bat went all the way out to Kipnis at second base. Let's take a look at our AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact. Manny Machado, 34 doubles this season, on pace for 72. That would be 5 more than the single season record set in 1931. Earl Webb at 67. And that is going to be it for the left-hander. Shaw will come out of the bullpen and be the third pitcher seen by the Orioles tonight. He'll work here. 2 Machado, 1 away, nobody on. By authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles.
Yeah, Brian Shaw now comes in relief. This will be his 31st appearance. 3.38 earned run average, 31 strikeouts to 13 base on balls. He's got a 2-seam fastball, a nice slider, and a changeup, but the cutter is his pitch. He's very effective, as you see, to right-handed batters. A 200 batting average. Lefty's hitting 303 off Shaw.
So Shaw will get to work against Manny Machado as an 0 for 3. Nobody on, 1 down, 7th inning. Indians have the 3-2 lead as the result of a 3-run, 4-hit 6th inning when they sent 8 to the plate. And that will be fouled away by Manny Machado. Brian Shaw from Arizona. Diamondbacks all the way to the backstop. Threw it about that far on that pitch. And the count goes to 1-1. Arizona last year, he appeared in 64 games, all in relief, 1-6, but had an ERA of 3.49. Pretty good ERA. Was acquired in a 3-player deal with the Diamondbacks. There's a sweeping breaking ball in there, 1-2.
Yeah, pretty good slider from Shaw. I think for the most part, hitters have to sit on that cutter, although he just threw one to the backstop. It's so firm, 93, 94 miles an hour.
And Machado goes down.
Another slider, back-to-back sliders to Machado. First one kind of locks him up on the inner third. This one, very good pitch. Starting down the middle and then breaking down and away off the plate.
So the Orioles have had the strikeout bite him in this game. Jimenez had 6. Hill got 1. Shaw gets 1. And now Nick Markakis. Nick with a home run, his 8th in the first inning. Orioles had a 2-0 lead after Wieters homered in the 4th inning. Both coming off Jimenez, the starter. Aaron O'Day for the Orioles in the bullpen. But the RBI single by Swisher and the bases loaded single for 2 RBIs by Brantley in the 6th inning has given the Indians the 1-run lead. Down to first base. Swisher's got it. He'll go to the bag himself. And that will retire the side. So the 2 relievers get it done as the Orioles go down 1-2-3. We go to the 8th inning. O's action in game 2 of this 4-game set. We'll see Chris Tillman taking the mound against Justin Masterson. Our coverage on MASN 2 HD begins at 6:30 with O's Extra presented by Geico, followed by our game at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Should be a real good matchup tomorrow. Justin Masterson, the Indians ace, 9 wins on the season to 5 losses, 3.40 earned run average. And look at the strikeouts, 110. And Chris Tillman has been pitching sensational for the Orioles. 8 wins to 2 losses, 3.71 earned run average. It's going to be a great contest. And we have a new pitcher, Darren O'Day, coming in relief for the Orioles. This will be his 36th appearance already for the Orioles. 3-0 record. Look at that earned run average at 1.85. Opponent batting average 205. Right-handers hitting just 132 off Darren.
1-run ball game with the Indians on top, batting here in the 8th inning. Mark Reynolds. Good job again by Tommy Hunter. 2 innings with a walk and a strikeout, and that was it off Hunter. Reynolds, an intentional pass, another walk, and he's flied out. And he will take the strike on the outside corner. So Mark back here in the yard where he played so many ball games at third and first and DH. Against the Orioles, he's only had 3 hits in 19 at bats against the O's. And O'Day stretches that a little further outside, and the count goes to 0-2.
Well, Darren O'Day has exceptional command of that slider. He can locate it inside, outside, even expand the plate with the slider as well.
Reynolds with the 0-2 count. And he'll take that away. Even with Mark playing in this ballpark as much as he did, Reynolds' career average here at Camden Yards only 191, but 28 home runs.
He hit some monster home runs here. He's one of the only home runs I've seen live that go in the second deck in left field.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be outside. And the count goes to 2-2. O'Day working here in the 8th. Clean innings have been hard to come by. Pitchers on both sides, a lot of base runners, and that will be outside. So a 3-ball 2-strike count on Mark Reynolds. Indians retired in order in the 2nd inning. And the Orioles have had somebody on in all but the 7th. O'Day ready with a 3-2, and Reynolds will chop it foul.
Once again, great confidence in that slider, throwing it 3-2 to Mark Reynolds.
Mark up there among the leaders, as you would expect, in strikeouts. He's 5th. Also 17th in RBIs and tied for 17th in home runs. 3-2 delivery to Reynolds, and that one's going to be a base hit into left field. So he battled after falling behind and picks up a leadoff single here in the 8th inning. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates. Adam Jones tonight has had a couple of singles, 2 for 3. Matt Wieters behind the plate has delivered a home run and a walk. And Nick Markakis got the Orioles on the board. Homered in the 1st inning, singled. He's got a 2 for 4 game. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, 31826. John McDonald will be the pinch runner as Reynolds comes out of the ball game. Where the Orioles are happy McDonald's not starting this game. He's a 388 hitter in this ballpark with 1 home run and a 303 hitter against the Orioles. He's got the best average of anybody on this Indians team against the Orioles and in this ballpark. Makes his first appearance as a pinch runner. There he is over at first base.
Yeah, veteran infielder, been around for a long time. One of the flashiest gloves you'll see.
0-1 count on Brantley. Brantley's had the big hit in the game, the 2 RBI single in the 6th inning. Runs number 2 and 3 in the ball game for the Indians. It came after the intentional pass was surrendered to Mark Reynolds, and Brantley stood up and made the Orioles pay. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Double play depth in on the grass at third, Manny Machado, and McDonald back to first base. Ball game that's been played close to the vest. Ryan Mattis, the left-hander for the Orioles, up.
Darren O'Day certainly has the ability to get a ground ball with his fastball, that 2-seamer. Gets some pretty good sink action on it.
Brantley will step out against him. Brantley's faced him twice, 0 for 2. One ball, 1 strike count, and back goes McDonald.
I think the thought process here, possible hit and run. Brantley get the defense to move a little bit. McDonald runs obviously a little bit better than Reynolds. They know every run matters for sure against the Orioles. This offense of the Orioles could explode at any time.
1 ball, 1 strike count. McDonald not running, and a swing and a miss. So Brantley with a 1 and 2. Speaking of hard outs for the Orioles on this Indians team, there's one of them right there. Brantley owns a .329 career average against the Orioles and a .387 average in this ballpark coming into the game. O'Day with a 1-ball 2-strike count on him. Brantley takes it, and he just missed. 2-2.
Pretty good attempt right there of backdooring the slider. Inch or two off the plate.
Brantley came in struggling here in the month of June. He had only a 200 average in June prior to that 2 RBI single he picked up in the 6th inning. 2-2 delivery to him. Brantley trying to wait on it, fouls it back. $18,544. 18,544. The Duke had sold for this one. Right back here tomorrow night. 7 o'clock game time. 6:30 for O's Extra. 2-2. Runner stays. Another foul ball.
A pretty good job of protecting right there from Brantley. That was a good look at Darren O'Day's 2-seamer. Good action as it faded away off the plate. Just getting enough of it to keep this at bat alive.
2 managers in a tight ball game. Think ahead, especially regarding the bullpens. 7th pitch of the at bat coming right here. 2-2 delivery. Brantley puts that one in the air to right field. It is way back, and goodbye home run. Brantley continues his career torrid pace against the Orioles. A big 2-run homer. He's got 4 RBIs in the game, and it's 5-2 Cleveland.
Well, pretty uncharacteristic of Darren O'Day. Back-to-back games now where he's given up a home run, and this fastball just stayed in the middle of the plate, and Brantley did not miss it. Stayed behind it very well, battled through a tough at bat to get to that swing.
And Buck Showalter's on his way out. For Brantley, that is his first home run here in this ballpark, and obviously a big hit, and O'Day is going to come out of the ball game. So Mark Reynolds, a single, followed by the Brantley homer, and the Indians have a 5-2 lead. What happened there, surrendering the home run, only the 4th he has given up this year, and comes out of the ball game with 2 runs scored against him.
Yeah, just an occasional mistake, and here recently he's been getting hit. Brian Mattis now in the ball game. This will be his 35th appearance. 4.20 earned run average, 24 strikeouts to 8 base on balls. Brian has the task of trying to get former American League MVP Jason Giambi out. See his batting average there against lefties, though very low for Brian Mattis.
So Giambi, the veteran, coming off the bench and pinch hitting for Ryan Rayburn. Bases empty, nobody out. Orioles go into the shift. And Giambi will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Giambi facing Mattis for the first time. Jason, 31st game he's appeared in, has 91 at bats. Comebacker, Mattis up, and we'll get him. So Giambi retired. He'll take over the DH role. That'll bring up Drew Stubbs. Stubbs making the start in right. He has singled, walked, flied out, stolen a base. Has continued his hit streak to 6 games with a base hit he got in the 3rd inning. Ubaldo Jimenez and Zach Britton, the 2 starters, are the pitchers of record on each side. And the off-speed delivery is in there for a strike to Stubbs. Likely story, Joe Smith up in the bullpen. For Stubbs, 1 for 2 off Mattis, foul back. The Indians are without their regular closer, Chris Perez. He's got a right shoulder injury, so Vinny Pastano has been filling in for Terry Francona's ball club as the closer. So if it is a save situation, Pastano probably is the one who would come on. Here's the 0-2 delivered to Stubbs, bounced.
Tries to get him swinging a little change up down and away. Brian Mattis' job right now is to get this Orioles offense back up in the batter's box.
Only one away. Here's the 1-2. That'll be down low. Tampa Bay has picked up the win over Toronto 4-1. So the 11-game win streak by the Jays has ended in their first game on a long road trip. 2-2 delivery. That ball is going to be into left field for a base hit in front of McLeod. The Stubbs, good ball game, up 4 times, 3 times on with 2 hits. And a single with 1 away here in the 8th inning. The other good news out of Tampa Bay tonight for the Rays, Alex Cobb came back to the ballpark. First time he's been back to the yard since taking that shot to the head where he had to be carried off. It was on June 15. Made his way back to Tropicana tonight. That's great.
That is great news.
Michael Bourne at the top of the order. Bourne with an 0 for 4. Runner at first base. 9 hits for the Indians. They lead at 5-2. 4 RBIs by Brantley, by the way, ties a career high, which he set earlier this year against Seattle. 4 RBI game. Brad Mills, third base coach, passing along the signs. Bourne brings Manny Machado in at third base. Foul tips that one. 1-1.
Well, with Bourne's speed, you certainly have to honor that. And he can shorten an infield up, obviously giving himself extra opportunities for base hits. But along with that, his speed, very tough to double up. Those are going to have to handle it cleanly. They want to try to get out of this inning on a ground ball.
Here's the 1-1 delivery to him. Bourne could not hold up on that. And the count goes to 1-2. Bourne has hit lefties, righties about equally. 313 lefties, 309 righties coming into the game. Overall average of 304. Stubbs off first, has a good lead, not going, and punched foul. Detroit leading the Indians by 4, starting the day's play. Boston leads the Orioles by 2. Red Sox off tonight. Toronto, Tampa, the only other game in the American League. 1-2 delivery, swung on and missed. Brian Mattis gets him.
Real nice pitch right there from Brian Mattis. Really had Bourne confused this whole at bat, challenging him there. A couple pitches over the heart of the plate, and then this a real good slider on the outer third. See Bourne underneath that one.
So a runner at first with 2 down. And Aviles up. Aviles has had an 0 for 4. Batting second in the order. Playing it short. Foul ball. Aviles has had only 1 hit in his last 18 at bats. Has dropped the average down to 254. Indians have won 9, lost 11 here in the month of June. They've played some pretty good ball games, though. As we've mentioned as we've gone along, they've had a few bats that have quieted down here this month, but their starting rotation has picked up the slack coming into the game. The starters 6-3 and a 3.14 earned run average in June.
So you need your pitching to step up.
Yep.
They're proving that can help you get through a lot of problems.
With the 0-2 count, Stubbs back to first base. Oh, 2-2 away. Aviles waiting. Runner not going. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles are 11-10 in the month of June. That 3-game losing streak putting them a game under 500 against the East, 17-18. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Brantley 4 RBIs, homer, single. 2-2 delivery, foul back. Two runs in here in the 8th. Indians with 2 away. Aviles waiting on the 2-2, and he will foul that one off. The Indians have been tough outs. Many of these at bats in this game have been extended foul balls, deep counts. Cleveland has the 5th most walks in the American League. And got him. So Mattis gets it in there for the strikeout, but a couple of runs score. The 2-run homer by Brantley increases the lead 5-2 Cleveland. Get $50 to support the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. 196 walks, $9,800. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. 5-2, the Indians on top. They go to the bullpen one more time, and a pretty effective closer, not in this game anyway.
Yeah, Joe Smith. He's the Indians version of Darren O'Day. He's side armor. Joe Smith with a 1.71 earned run average. Opponent average of 198. See, righties hitting 182, and lefties not much better, just 213. He does drop down. Comes from that sidearm submarine type angle. Has that sinker ball and a slider to go along with it.
John Magana will stay in the ball game and play at third base with Mark Reynolds coming out. He came in to pinch run for him. Adam Jones will lead it off against the 29-year-old right-hander. Smith with the Indians 7-4 last year, 72 appearances last year, 71 the year before. Very active and very good. And the pitch will be taken for a ball. Adam has had 2 singles in the game, 2 for 3. Up over the 300 mark again, hitting at 301. Smith's pitch again will be inside. Orioles need base runners. Count goes to 2-0. Davis and then Hardy. And that one will catch the inside corner.
Barely.
Yep. He's staying in there. 2-1 delivery. Jones a chopper. Hit right in front of the plate. Goes to second. Kipnis there to make the play, and Adam is retired. 1 down, bottom of the 8th inning. Orioles held to the solo home runs by Markakis and Wieters. Best chances came early in the game against Ubaldo Jimenez. The start of the Orioles left the bases loaded in the second inning. 2 more left on in the third. They had base runners on in every inning but the 7th. And the pitch will be taken for a ball by Chris Davis. Chris has an 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts in the game. Shaw 2/3 of an inning at a strikeout. Hill an inning, 1 strikeout. Now Smith out of the bullpen after the starter Jimenez went 5 1/3 innings. Into the shift. Second base, Kipnis. Boy, if ever there was a play that showed you what the shift is all about, that's a base hit to right field that ends up being a 4-3.
That's why teams do it. Big power hitters like Chris Davis, they put that big shift on, move their second baseman way out in the shallow right field. And this is a bullet actually hitting on the grass. Typically a base hit. Taken away from Chris Davis.
So 2 down in the 8th. Hardy with a single, 1 for 3. And will take the pitch inside for a ball. Sidearms that one in for a strike. Jim Johnson in the bullpen. He'd been throwing out there. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Hardy. JJ to second again. And the Orioles are retired in order again. That's 8 in a row that have been set down by the bullpen against the O's. Indians up by 3. to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Gary Thorne and Mike Warnick as we open up this 4-game series, the Orioles and the Indians. Indians have the 5-2 lead, out hitting the Orioles by 1. Jim Johnson is coming on just to get some work, as Jim did not work in Toronto in those 3. Last outing was on the 18th against the Tigers.
Well, definitely to get some work, but also get back in the dugout and give this Orioles offense a chance in the 9th. See the opponent batting average at 246 here for Jim, and he's got to work through the heart of this Indians lineup.
And Kipnis will be at the plate against him. And the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Kipnis extending his hit streak to 6 games with a double in the 6th inning, and he scored. 1 for 3, and he's been hit by a pitch. And that's a strike on the inside corner. Kipnis highly touted from the time he was drafted through his days in the minors as a star to be. Looks like he's going to be just that. That is fouled off. Young foundation type player for the Cleveland Indians. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Jason Kipnis.
Well, organizations, of course, build around some great young players, and they brought in some good veterans, obviously, to help him learn the right way to go about his business. And certainly seeing the effects of that this year, putting up some really good numbers.
Second full season with the Indians, as he hit .257 last year, played 36 games in 2011. He was selected in the 2nd round, 63rd overall in the 2009 draft. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Jim Johnson's 3-2 delivery, and that'll be fouled off. Kipnis played only parts of 3 seasons in the minor leagues. He hit .297 in the minors. A lot of doubles. 29 home runs. That'll be fouled away. And the count stays at 3-2 on Kipnis. And Buck Showalter's big hope here. Please let this be a quick inning. He does not need Jim Johnson out there throwing 30 pitches. No. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and Kipnis will go down swing.
Oh, really tough battle right there, but Jim Johnson wins it by elevating a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Able to beat Kipnis. I mentioned Kipnis been red hot. Jim Johnson powers him up in the zone.
Johnson on for Brian Mattis, who worked an inning, gave up 1 hit, single, and had 2 strikeouts. O'Day worked no part of an inning, 2 hits, including a home run, 2 runs. And a swing and a miss. Nick Swisher. Swisher's been a part of this one. RBI single in the 6th inning, and he would score. A couple of hits, on base 3 times, had a walk. And the pitch up high to him, 1 ball and 1 strike. Four for 14. Swisher against Johnson. Misses with that one, and the count goes to 2-1. And that is a strike, dropping that one in. And Swisher takes it to 2-2. Cleveland, 2 big innings. 3 runs, 4 hits in the 6th, 2 runs, 3 hits in the 8th. The Indians giving up just 2 solo home runs. Johnson's fastball tails away. 3 ball, 2 strike count.
And I think looking back at this game, like you had mentioned, Orioles plenty of opportunities early to get to Jimenez. A lot of runners on, but he was able to pitch himself out of some jams.
And 3-2 count stays on Swisher. Orioles staring 4 losses in a row. Three-two delivery in the air, left field, going back. McLouth, warning track wall with room. He's gone. Updating you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. Nick Markakis on top at the moment. You still have time to text in your vote, A, B, or C, 31826. The results coming up on the O's Extra postgame show. Two down, 9th inning. Carlos Santana, Cleveland catcher, double, run scored, 1 for 4. Santana with an 0 for 2 in the times he's faced Jim Johnson. And the 0-1 count. Santana, 10 home runs, 32 batted in. Bats here with the bases empty. And a big swing on it. And the off-speed pitch, 0-2.
Jim Johnson looking good, mixing up all of his pitches. He's thrown some change-ups in this inning. A couple really good breaking balls. Santana's seen them both right there.
Jim ready with the 0-2 delivery. There is Pastano, who, as we said, has taken over the closer role. It is a save situation at the moment. And again, the 0-2 delivery. Santana just off the jersey. Gets his moonwalking exercise in for the day, and the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Johnson's pitch. Dances on that one, down around his feet, and he goes to 2-2. Two-two delivery. 1 after 1. He thought he could drive, fouls it back, and the count will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, with Jim Johnson, typically you want to try to elevate him. He's got that power sinker. I've seen a couple chases up to the top of the zone. That's what Santana did right there. He's lucky to foul that one off.
Fouls off another one. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another one of these long at bats. This will be pitch number 8. 2-2 delivery, and got it. So Jim Johnson comes on, gets a couple of strikeouts, retires the side in order. The Orioles go to the bottom of the 9th. They need 3. Leaders will lead it off. game, and we'll see what they'll be showing us for the finish here, as the now closer for the Indians will come on in a save situation in the bottom of the 9th inning. Vinny Pastano.
Yeah, Pastano filling in that closer role, as you had mentioned, with Perez on the disabled list. This will be his 23rd game. 3 saves in 5 opportunities, 21 strikeouts, 11 base on balls, though. And he's a sidearm slinger as well. 241 opponent average. Righties just 176. Got a 2-seam fastball with that 4-seam fastball and a slider. Pretty aggressive with his fastball to both lefties and righties.
Pastano has had a couple of saves in each of the last 2 seasons. He has 5 saves at the major league level coming into this season, and then has added to it. This season, you see the rankings. The Orioles 28 saves, tied for second. The Indians 12 saves, last. Here we go in the 9th inning. Pastano's pitch will be taken away. Matt Wieters. Wieters, the home run, a walk, and he is flied out. Got his 10th home run in the 4th inning. Jimenez gave up 2 solo shots, the starter for the Indians. And Pastano's pitch is in there for a strike. Wieters has faced Pastano twice, 0 for 2. Pastano, 28-year-old right-hander, 1-1 delivery. Swings through it, and a ball and 2 strikes.
Pretty good slider right there for Pastano. Had some quick late break on it.
One ball, 2 strike delivery, and Wieters goes down swinging. So Pastano with a strikeout.
Back-to-back sliders to Matt Wieters, 1 down and in. This one he backdoors to get Matt on the swing.
Dickerson will come up as the pinch hitter in the DH role for Valencia. Ishikawa started the DH role at a walk, struck out. Valencia came on, was a pinch hitter, and struck out. Now Chris Dickerson, first ball hitting, shallow left field. Brantley, 2 down. Two away in the bottom of the 9th. The Orioles 1 out away from losing their 4th in a row. Britton would take the loss and be 1-2. Jimenez, in his first outing against the Orioles ever, would be the winner and go 6-4. And it would be a save if Pastano can get the 3rd out. Ryan Flaherty up. Flaherty's had a single, 2 singles, 2 for 3 in the ball game. Has breached the 200 mark now. Pastano's pitch is in there for a strike. Hunter worked 2 innings, had a strikeout. O'Day no part of an inning, 2 runs, 2 hits. Ryan Mattis an inning, a couple of strikeouts, 1 hit. Jim Johnson retired all 3 that he faced. The Orioles bullpen as Chuck Showalter trying to manage it. So he has people for tomorrow. Kevin Gossman in the bullpen, not used tonight. He would be the long man tomorrow, I would assume, as he was tonight.
Exactly.
It was his night to pitch in the minors. Called up today. Kevin on the right. Pedro Strop standing. Troy Patton next to him. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Flaherty. Orioles tonight had a 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They've left 7. Indians 2 for 8. They have left 9. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Flaherty. 2 close pitches. Pastano didn't get either of them, and the count is 3-2.
Yeah, working both edges, the backdoor slider and that fastball just inside to Ryan Flaherty.
3-2 delivery, and Flaherty will take it, and he's on. So Flaherty works the walk. And the Orioles keep this game alive. Hayden McLeod coming up. The leadoff batter 0 for 4 in the ball game. Facing Pastano for the first time. Even with a bag at third, now McDonald in a step. And the pitch is there for his strike. Couple of strikeouts, pop out, ground up for Nate McLeod. The Orioles get the order turned over. See if they can do anything with it here against the Indians closer. 0-1 delivery. Off speed outside, 1-1.
Certainly what they wanted to do. Their goal, obviously, coming in this inning, get some base runners on and get the top of the order up there. There are some sluggers. Of course, Manny Machado, Chris Davis waiting in the wings, but Markakis and Jones.
1-1 delivery on the way. McLeod's going to do it. That's a base hit into center field. And the Orioles will get the potential tying run to the plate in the bottom of the ninth with 2 down. Nate keeps his hit streak alive at 8 games. More importantly, keeps the ball game alive. And Manny Machado with 2 down. He too with an 0 for 4 in the game. Couple of fly balls, fielder's choice, and a strikeout. Big time numbers for anybody, much less a young player like Manny Machado with runners in scoring position. And a short, and that's the ball game. It is a game of inches. Aviles there to get it. The Orioles retired, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Indians take game 1 against the O's by a score of 5-2 in the first meeting of these 2 teams this season. They'll go at it again tomorrow night in game 2. Chris Tillman will be on the mound against Justin Masterson. Coverage at 6:30. MASN 2 HD O's Extra presented by Geico. Our game action at 7. This has been a MASN presentation. Jim and Rick standing by. O's Extra presented by PNC. Take a look back. The Orioles once had a 2-0 lead in this ball game. Indians win it. For Mike Bordick and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu, adieu.